I am back among you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know it's been a bit since I streamed. Hopefully, I can get back. I know I say this all the time, back into a regular schedule of streaming. But this one's a little bit long overdue. This is something I actually wanted to cover days ago, and I don't feel that it's too old yet that it still can't be talked about. But I'm going to talk about it here tonight for a little bit, and then I'll probably still be talking about it while I do a few rounds of Overwatch. Probably going to do them with Sen, Mr. Sen. Don't know if he's going to hop on here or not later. We'll see. But yeah, John Swan. Wow, it hasn't even been a year, I don't think, and already he's at a point where he's in another controversy. Now, I did talk about this on Crow's channel. I think I might have briefly talked about it on Sen's channel, but wow, I just, it's so interesting to me that this guy cannot seem to stay out of any kind of trouble for an extended period of time. Like, once one controversy seems to settle down, not even really, I don't think any of his controversies ever really settled down, right? But it seems like he just likes to get himself into these situations where he looks the absolute worst that he can possibly look because of stuff he's doing behind the scenes, because of stuff he's plotting, obviously the lies that he tells as well. Once he gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar, that's not helping anything either. And he's back at a point where any momentum that he built up, right, any good faith that he was starting to maybe repair, it's gone. It's out the window yet again. Not that it should have ever really, it was on shaky ground to begin with, his little rebuilding process there. But he's once again back in the same situation because of trying to do what he can to, I don't want to say that it's so much a pattern of him trying to ruin people's lives. It's really a matter of him being involved in gay ops more than anything else, I would say. And just not being upfront about the fact that he was involved in said gay ops. Hey, what's up, Gotcha Son, Zana, Bowsette, DZ, CWP, how you all doing? But yeah, every time he gets caught, he always, instead of just coming clean about it, he starts to lie. Then he gets caught in the lie. Then he gets grilled on it, and then still lies. And then he gets caught on that lie and gets grilled on that. And then it just keeps going and going and going. So, I mean, at this point, I know all of you probably have seen, if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you're aware of all the stuff that's already occurred on Destiny's stream and things like that. So I won't really be going over that, or Mr. Girl of all people grilling him. But just, I'm actually going to be watching a video. Now, I don't know who this guy is, but apparently he's been following the Johnson stuff. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I've been told that he's actually the guy that was on Destiny's stream that was asking John Swan about this whole situation that he found himself in with this girl and some guy named Cammy or whatever. It was up, Solid Redfield. But this guy named Bunk, I guess, he's the one that was asking John questions to start off with, to which John didn't really have very good responses. So we're going to watch this video just to kind of get caught up to speed on certain things. And then I'm going to be going over some of the leaked phone calls that have been uploaded since, because it seems like now everybody is coming out of the woodwork. Anybody that had these conversations with John, people that were supporters of his, are like they're turning their backs on him, which is, it's not surprising considering it's just something that happens, right? I think some of these people, in fairness to John, are doing it obviously to jump on the bandwagon a little bit. I think there's some people that, the ones that are legit, that might be legit doing it because it might have been some actual moral conflict for them, or it's something that really bothered them that they felt they needed to speak up. I think there's only really just a handful of those that are speaking up. I would think from the way the Aiden guy was talking, I believe Aiden is a person that was friends with him, and he went to bat for John when John got, into his controversies before, but I guess this was the last straw for him. So I can't speak to his motives, but it seems like he's one of the few, I think, that is actually doing this more because of having, come to bat for John in the past. And now this is a situation where I guess they look at it, they can't defend him anymore, right? But the people that were like welcoming John Swan back within the commentary community, that welcome him back with open arms because of the whole controversy with technicals, because John decided to be an opportunist and take a shot at technicals who he was on good terms with, right? Just to seemingly ingratiate himself, in my opinion, with a lot of the commentary clowns out there. I think he did it to ingratiate himself with them, knowing that technicals was on the out with a lot of them. Again, just my opinion, that he was on the outs with a lot of them, and he decided to take an opportunity, and I think he was looking to see if he could not only ingratiate himself to them, but also to their audiences, right? Which had kind of turned their back on him before, and they seemed to welcome him with open arms. Well, now they all look stupid again for letting him back into their circle, and when he's been doing dumb shit behind the scenes as usual. And of course, I'm sure they'll find their way to say, no, we didn't really invite him. We didn't fully trust them all the way back in. I'm sure they'll have their excuses for it, but it's like, they shouldn't have let him back into to begin with, right? They shouldn't have let him back into their circle, knowing that he just didn't seem like a trustworthy person after the dream situation. I mean, the technical situation should be another one that should have been a good example to them, that he's a guy that'll just flip on a dime a little bit, as well as a couple of other things. So now they look dumb too, in my opinion, to a certain extent. I mean, they'll be fine though. They'll bounce back from it, but I think it was dumb for them to just kind of welcome him back with open arms. Remember, they did the whole hashtag welcome back John Swan. And again, they got, they're probably not going to have too much egg on their face about it. They'll just kind of brush it off and move on as forward. It's not going to hurt any of their careers. Like I said, it just makes them all look a little bit foolish, in my opinion, but nothing that they can't recover from. So Geek Rage says, why can't he just stop? He has lost all cred with his community, and most of his viewers don't like him. Not saying he needs to be taken off the internet, but he has to move on to something else. I agree. I mean, look, but that's the thing, though. He's an arrogant person. And he's obviously, he's a little narcissistic as well, but he's an extremely arrogant guy who feels he can do no wrong, right? And like I said, it would be so much easier for him to just cop to stuff. If you're caught, right? I think it would have still done damage regardless, because of how much bad faith he's already carried in the community. I think it wouldn't have mattered either way had he come clean or not. But I think at least if he had, right, especially given this recent thing, if he had come clean, I think that would have shown at least some degree of growth, and people looking at him as like, well, it looks like he's finally starting to mature and realizing that, his screw ups, he needs to acknowledge them and try to do better. But he still seems to have that problem where when he's caught, he still does nothing but try to deflect and not take any kind of accountability for what he's doing. So that's fine. He could keep doing that, and we could continue to laugh at him for it. So we're going to watch this video here by Bunk, explaining a little bit of it. It's about 30 minutes long. Thing we'll continue to talk about this stuff, because it's been quite the trash fire. So
we have something big, a little recap stream with a little bit of extra information coming to you guys today. As you all might have known recently by some of my Twitter posts, or some of my editors' Twitter posts, I should say, I've been working on a little, I don't even want to call it an investigation, it blows it up a little bit too much, a little bit of a project with a couple of different YouTubers, different commentators. I've been working on looking into some of what John Swan has done over the years, and recapping not only his involvement in the Cammy situation, but also his involvement in previous situations, which we have not actually put out yet. As many of you may know, I was actually on the Destiny stream not a long time ago, in which we caught John in a bold-faced lie about his involvement in the Cammy situation. Not only was the things that he said on that stream a lie, but a blatant misrepresentation of his involvement within the situation, in which he allowed two 15-year-olds to take the fall for, one, a statement they didn't make, and a document that they did not have any large involvement in.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing he's going to go over that. Oh, thank you so much for the 5 GG Evans. When you punch above your weight class by going after Tech and end up tripping over your own feet without Tech throwing a punch, that's John Swan for you. Yeah, pretty much. That seems to be the story of his, I guess, of his quote unquote YouTube career, right? Biting off way more than
Because
he could
of
chew.
this has led us into actually investigating some of John's old and previous works, as well as talking with previous friends of John and getting certain information, which has actually given us a really good light as to how disingenuous John Swan has become. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to John Swan Down the Swan Hole. There's been
Down
certain
the
things
Swan
revealed
hole.
to us by, let's say,
Okay.
according to my sources,
That
okay,
sounds
there have been
nasty.
things revealed to us that we're going to be talking about on stream tonight. Now, as we've shown today,
So mind you, remember there was a lot of his messages, a lot of his Discord DMs were leaked. On top of everything else, it seems like every day, like I said, every day somebody is revealing something new about John Swan, right? That he did behind the scenes. Now, in fairness, like I said, even though he doesn't deserve any real leeway, in my opinion, but I think that some of those people, there's obviously going to be people that are going to dogpile, right? They're going to use whatever little thing that John Swan said out of context or whatever to try to get the win on him because it's, why not, right? He's an easy target right now. But I think that the biggest stuff against him obviously is going to be the stuff with the document, of course, because we see that he made it seem like, listen, all I did was make a few edits on it, a few tweaks on it. But when you look at what some of those edits are, again, if they're true, we'll say allegedly, if he did edit as heavily as is being put out there, which I don't think he's refuted that yet, that I've seen, it was pretty significant, right? It was really significant. He changed a lot of the wording of what the girl said to paint the worst possible narrative for the guy, right? For the Cammy guy. So keep that in mind.
With the Pieman situation, we're going to be recalling back to
Pieman.
John Swan has gone through great lengths to actually manipulate the narrative surrounding certain events, certain dramas that he's in. Furthermore, we have more information showing that up to even a year ago today, around 1 year ago today, John Swan was doing the exact same things concerning the Pieman situation.
Yep.
If those of you remember correctly, there was an entire controversy, a little bit of a criticism
Which is
levied at
really
John
dumb.
Swan that he did not apologize to Pieman. With that happening, John Swan decided to go into a call with Pieman, not to apologize, but to have some kind of ammunition to use against Pieman and manipulate a narrative. What you'll be hearing is leaked audio from a conversation with Pieman and one of the people who was involved with, where he discusses actually covertly trying to leak this call with the intent of leaking this call, but doing so in such a subversive and manipulative way in which he contemplates what kind of stories he can tell to get away with it. It is quite literally him scheming another lie. The entire call will be played in full so you guys can make up your decision, as well as the Pieman call, in which you can see that he's clearly being manipulative. He's clearly only saying things because he knows he's...
Now, remember, with the Pieman situation, that was the one where he was basically like, mind you, Pieman, 15 years old at the time, he was essentially telling Pieman that he was a pedo and stuff, right? At 15 years old, and that he was never going to recover from this, things along those lines, right? That this would haunt him for the rest of his life, and that basically he should get offline, blah, 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 all this stuff, because he's basically done. This is going to hurt his whatever aspirations he had of whatever it was he was planning to do online. This would always haunt him. This would always follow him and stuff like that. He also had said that Pieman was off yourself baiting and stuff. Remember that? Self-deletion baiting. And if you recall, he basically was like afterwards, I think on a live stream, somebody recorded that, where he was basically saying he obviously didn't off himself. So there's that. And it's just like just really, really shitty stuff. Right. Like basically saying, well, see, I was right because he didn't end up offing himself, kind of. And it's just like, oh God, this is terrible.
He wants to get himself out of hot water. There is no genuineness to this individual. When I was shown this made me more than concretely decided in the idea that John Swan is a manipulative person. That there is nothing to John Swan.
That should have been everybody's first indication was the Pieman stuff.
I will be playing the call's audio right now.
The second, if it leaks, it must be somebody tied to you or you, John. Right?
Yeah.
And that's something you
want to say. It couldn't just be one of you guys, and then one of you guys send it to someone else, and then someone else send it to someone else. It just went like on a train. Because obviously I don't care. I don't know.
No, okay.
I'm just thinking.
You would have a motive, though. You would have the motive of, I guess, setting your reputation straight. The question is, how convincing is the call, though? Because I've seen some of it, but that was a while ago. So how, like...
No, the call's pretty bad.
How compelling would your case be in this
stuff.
situation?
Nick listened to it, and he was like, you have a very good case here. And if Nick says I have a very good case, then, you know, I think I have a pretty good case. I don't know. I was pretty like, dude, in that call, I was just like, I just want it all to end. And I was like, I was so incredibly compromising. I gave him the out on every opportunity, like every single thing that he could have had, like fault for. I basically said, it's no worries. Don't worry about it. Or like, it's not your fault. Or, you know, I gave him the out at every single opportunity. There was no blame on him in literally anything.
John was doing him the favor, apparently.
It looks incredibly bad for him, incredibly good for me. There was almost no framing that looks bad for me. That call, it is.
Now, mind you, he's talking about a 15-year-old kid, right?
It is. It's pretty bad for Pine, and we can listen to it later, the full thing. But I feel like if we want to do this, there's only one way. You create a new Twitter account with a number that none of you have registered. So we get someone else to make a Google Voice number or something, and then we leak it through that, so it has no ties to literally anyone. And then we leave it for like ages, and then all of a sudden people start retweeting it out of nowhere, because you could just say you found it through like Twitter search or something, and that's probably the best way for you to do it. At least the way I thought about it, because you can't do it through an account that has followers. I don't think that's not going to work.
Wow.
Because that would almost be like a mystery then, right? Like you don't even know who the leaker is. And you could honestly say, like, you know, I don't want you guys to take the blame though, but like in my head, what I've been thinking is like,
I don't want to be a person that leaks stuff in general. Like I don't think I was like putting my like a personal account on like.
No, I know what you mean. I don't know.
Okay.
I could just say like I sent it in a group chat with a bunch of people in there, and one of them
basically
probably
in it for the long haul.
Probably took it and sent it to other people, and it went down the chain. That's probably what I would say. I don't have to go into depth about who those people were in that group chat or how it got there, but eventually it got to someone
You don't
else.
want to get dragged into like a controversial situation again, like right? That would be like.
I think it's going to be inevitable. I'm going to have to say something about it when it happens, when it leaks. That's the opportunity, because right now I can't just come out and say something, right? The thing about this isn't so much just it being leaked as it is me getting an opportunity to explain myself in a way that doesn't seem forced. Because I could just go and like drop a. I thought about like maybe just doing like a short thread on Twitter. I don't want to have any hand in that. I don't even want to. I don't want to write it. I don't want anything, because if I write it, people will fucking know I wrote it. So I can't do that. I literally can't have a single hand in it apart from like. I honestly think you don't need to think this far into it. I could just say I sent it to a group chat, and one of those people, well, either the leakers or they sent it to someone else. I mean, I don't have to name anyone. There has to be there literally has to be no names thrown around, because that group chat could have been months ago.
What happens if this gets really big and you know, if this gets really big, someone's gonna bring up the question, you know, like, do you seriously not remember anyone that was in that group chat? And I think that's
I could say I remember who they were, but I don't suspect that
I'm
anyone
going to fast forward this.
They would have leaked it, so I
speed
don't
it
know.
up a little bit.
I didn't know so much. I was pretty smart. There's only one bit in there that I genuinely like must have misremembered the tweet, because I would have said that very, very differently if I remembered. It was the tweet about urges, and I think I completely misremembered.
A lot of dead air. My goodness. Okay.
And that is where the recording of the call that we have ends. Now, to be certain, all right, John is actively within that call planning to lie about things. I've written down very specific points within the call to go over some specific quotes. In the call, I just wanted it all to end, is something that John Swan said. Mind you, this was supposed to be an apology. What was supposed to be a genuine apology. John Swan is indirectly admitting within this quote, or even directly admitting within this quote, that everything he just said there was to try and get it to end. He also says, and it looks incredibly bad for Pieman, incredibly good for me.
Yep.
John Swan is worried about the optics of what is supposed to be a genuine apology
Yep.
and the ability to leak it to the
I
public
mean, that's not
so that
surprising,
he
right?
looks good. He's trying to plan out lies on how he can leak it to the public so that he looks good.
I mean, we already kind of know this about John, right? Because this happened when the whole call with him and Diorio, right? When he got mad at Diorio's like, no, this wasn't the way, Nick, you know, because he knew how bad it would look for him.
There is no genuineness within this person. At a time that is so supposed to be as sincere as an apology, he is scheming and manipulating the narrative publicly. We literally have a call of him.
GG Evans says Jim is currently fucking them up. They can't do worse unless John Swan replaces the owner manual with his remedial Google Docs.
Planning these lies. He also says, if we want to do it, there's only one way, in which he then goes on to scheme about the ways that he could leak the call, including quotes such as, I can just say I sent it in a group chat. That would probably be what I said. Or what I will say. I'm sorry. He is, again, directly planning lies to give to the public, to feed to the public. He is worried about the plausible deniability of an apology that was supposed to be private and the ways that he can leak it out publicly. He's worried about these optics and this plausible deniability of what is supposed to be a genuine apology for his greatest fuck up. I would like you guys to be very, very, very intensely focused on this point, that he is not sincere at any point throughout this apology. This is the apology he was planning on leaking to the public subversively and trying to lie
about him in
I
general.
will play it for you guys today. Understand that throughout this apology, he's only trying to tell you things or say things that he thinks the public would be amenable to, which we have seen throughout the private call. I will be replaying it now in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, D, what's going on? Hello?
Just hold on, I need to make...
No problem.
No, I believe he's
louder.
actually talking to Pieman here. This is actually the call with Pieman, I believe. You know, the apology call, you know, the one that...
I think it's
Yeah.
fixed now.
Okay, yeah, you're good. All good. Hey, D, what's up?
Nothing much.
That's good. That's good. I had a talk with
See, so, and just real quick, before we continue on with that call, remember, as far as I understand, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe that John Swan was one of the people that Pieman looked up to, right? He's one of those people that he kind of, my understanding is that Pieman is a big fan of John Swan, right? Probably one of the people he looked up to in terms of what he was aspiring to hear on the platform. Okay, from my understanding. So keep that in mind. You know, they had the little thing, right? That whole situation. Pieman, remember, he said that he had talked to John Swan behind the scenes, that they had hashed it out or whatever. So I'm guessing this is from that. I'm assuming that this is from that. So
people yesterday, and it was too late. You already got to bed when I came to the decision that I wanted to talk to you about this stuff. This has nothing to do with Willie Mac's video, by the way. I didn't even see that stuff until this morning. I already
Nothing
came
to
to
do
this
with
decision
Willie's
last
video.
night, just in case
Sure.
you're wondering, because I saw that some people sent me that stuff. I got the messages this morning, but I came to the decision last night that I wanted to talk to you about this stuff because in getting some perspective from other people, I can realize that I was definitely wrong in some things that I said and some things that I did. I'm not going to concede on everything to give you be completely upfront. I'm not going to concede on everything, but there are some things that I genuinely regret about what I did. And I genuinely do regret getting involved in the first place. And this isn't me just, damage controlling or something. I've genuinely thought about this.
It is absolutely damage control. So already that's a bull-faced lie. It absolutely is damage control because he's feeling pressure from the video that had recently dropped on him. And the fact that, remember, at this point, this was after the whole thing had been revealed, the Dreamline stuff. This was all after that. Okay. So he already looked bad. So this was obviously a damage control measure, to save some degree of face after Willie Mack dropped his video, because he was already getting pretty much slaughtered online, by the people that were once, his friends, right, on his side and stuff. They had turned their backs and said, "Oh, well, nope, we gotta walk away here." So,
and I should not have gotten involved in the first place. And I will kind of explain to you why I did what I did, and kind of hopefully give you some more perspective as well, if you're okay with that.
Okay.
All right.
And I just want to say first that I definitely think I went too harsh to towards the end of my video. I got a bit invested in making the video dramatic and stuff, and I definitely went over hyperbolic towards the end.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, because it was definitely, there was some things that were a bit overdramatic. But you know what? It's fine. We all over dramatize things sometimes. So that's fine. I don't hold any hard feelings against you for doing that. Okay. Getting involved in this was a mistake in the first place, but I think it all goes back to a few months ago. I'd just blown up in a big way, and I don't think I was fully aware of how much of an audience I really had. And I think recently I've gotten a lot more perspective with this dream stuff, and
he's gotten more perspective because of the dream stuff, right?
About how much influence I actually hold, and putting you and other small guys on blast for little things that you did or just being cringe was not acceptable.
How funny though that didn't, he seems to see the error of his ways, right? In regards to putting smaller creators on blast and things like that. But yet, remember, after the whole technicals debacle, he put the franchise on blast. Franchise made a great video, by the way. Check out the franchise. Those of you that ain't sub to him, need to sub to him. Great content creator, especially if you're into following the Smash community stuff. He does excellent work. Also a friend of the channel. Be sure to check out the franchise. But remember, he took shots at franchise because franchise called him out for his technicals video. So, he's a guy that, he acts like, yeah, maybe, I got some perspective now. Maybe punching down wasn't the best thing, but yet still continue to do it after the fact. This is which is something, look, honestly, I don't care if he does it. I'm going to be honest. People can, the whole point of YouTube is, at least the YouTube I remember, right, is, that's part of what comes being a YouTuber, I guess. Is that you're going to be criticized by people smaller, bigger, whatever. It happens. I don't have a problem with it, regardless of how much the disparity is between the subs. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Probably I don't think it should be worth anybody's time to do that, right? To give somebody that is a smaller channel than them, if they're especially if they're a person that is just like that constantly tells other people, oh, you're just clout chasing or saying stuff like that, right? You're just trying to get publicity off me or whatever. If they're the kind of people that use those kind of arguments, best thing for them to do then is just ignore the smaller people, right? Not give them any kind of publicity. Don't give it any kind of life, and that way they won't grow, right? If I think that's kind of the best way to get back at them, right? Unless they're saying something that is just so heinous that you have to respond, right? But like something that can really affect you, I guess. But in most cases, look, it's not going to be a lot of people that say things that are going to hold a lot of weight. Like I said, unless they're calling you something that could have some real world consequences in your life, or can affect your life in some way, it's whatever, right? People talking shit is people talking shit. So GG says, hey, I need to put some music in the background at 15% volume. Not gonna lie, it's pretty stale when you just listen to phone calls without some background noise. Okay. I guess I could put, if you guys want to hear something in the background, I guess I could do that. I'll try to do that for a future stream. I don't know how to do it with StreamYards though, because you can only focus on one thing on StreamYards, but I will try to get that figured out for next stream. Maybe I'll use OBS for the next stream, because I think I could do it with that. because here I could only like do it one window at a time. I would have to turn on speakers, I think, and I don't want there to be feedback. I would try, or maybe I'll start singing. No, you don't want to hear me sing, Gigi. It's not
And
a good
I
thing.
don't.
Actually,
But I will try to
I think you
entertain.
were 100% within the right to, meme on me and stuff for being cringe before. I have no problem with like.
Well, I have a problem with myself doing that because I think that's what started everything, and I shouldn't have done that. And you'll notice that probably I haven't done it like in the last like 2 months, because
Why
of
does it feel like everything? See, this is the thing
outcome of
with
this whole situation. I just decided that it wasn't worth it. But looking back now, I don't agree with a lot of what I did.
oh,
I'm a big channel. I'm not just some small guy anymore dunking on other small guys. This is
no, here's the thing, right? It's funny because he makes it seem like because he's such a bigger channel at this point, right? He was already past 100K subs at this point. He's a bigger channel than maybe the people he was addressing at the time. But think about this though. No matter how many times people say, I'm a bigger channel, and they talk about people being smaller channels than them, right? Why? I would need to know how he did it. I have no idea then how he did it with StreamYards, because I think I could only focus on one window at a time. But even John's a small channel in comparison to say somebody like, Louis Caliber, right? Louis, a 5 million sub channel, and John's he's got over 100K. StreamYards has some sample tracks on site for you to play during streams. But you know what? I think you have to have the I think I know what you're talking about, GG. But I think that hold on. I think that for that you have to have the paid version, I want to say. The paid version of StreamYards. I don't have the subscription to StreamYards. So, like I said, I'll try to figure it out. I'll try not to drone on too much with this, and I'll try to actually add my commentary in here so it's not too boring with the phone call here. But actually, I might speed this up soon though.
I have a lot more influence than I realized at the time, and I didn't really register with me. I suppose the growth was so gradual.
I mean, look, here's the thing. To a degree, I guess YouTubers can have some degree of influence, even somebody with 100K, probably more so than somebody with 1,000 subscribers, right? In their particular community. But by and large, it's just only limited here to the scope of YouTube, right? To this particular section of YouTube. So it's not like he has this great amount of influence on the internet at large. This is really just a corner within a corner of the internet. You know what I mean? It's very niche. So this is where I think like one of the issues I think that most people have with John Swan is this arrogance to think, like this, right? No, I have this. You really don't, dude. You really don't have the amount of influence that you think you do. Maybe the people that are, like I said, much younger and maybe like Pie Man, right? Who idolized John Swan at the time, right? Maybe over people like him, you have that degree of influence because he's somebody that looks up to you, and he aspires to be like you in the community. But by and large, like I said, people that know better, not really. You know what I mean? Just because somebody's sub to you doesn't mean they're like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Everything he says, I feel influenced by it, and I want to make some kind of a change. Recap me and my wrench. I got you, Gelth. It's been a while. Welcome back, buddy. Let me hook Gelth up. Gelth was a mod before. I gotta mod him once again. There you go, bud. Welcome back. What's up, son? Why don't you get in here with me, bro? Talk to me, baby girl. Let's make it interesting. You know what I mean? I don't want Gigi Evans to fall asleep.
I didn't even notice, how many people there were that genuinely followed and believed and took everything I said and would use that later on.
That does happen. That does happen, by the way. There is people that once they get invested, because that's the thing. When people become fans of others here on the site, of course, they're going to be invested in the things that they do. I know I have fans that are invested in me, not so much my necessarily that they necessarily care for every video that I put out, but they're just they're invested in me, and I appreciate that. I really do. But at the same time, I don't want people to take everything I say as gospel. I say this all the time. I want people to draw their own conclusions when it comes to stuff. And I'm okay with disagreeing. We could always agree to disagree on certain takes I might have. I haven't always had the popular opinion when it comes to certain things, and that's fine. And there's been plenty of times. One of my longtime subscribers, who I don't know how many times I've gone back and forth with him, but I like, but I'm good with him. We're good. Like, I don't have anything at all against him. I think he's a good dude. Is Smooth. He's been in some of these streams before. Me and him probably couldn't disagree more on stuff, but I appreciate him having his view, regardless of whether or not we agree. And and I appreciate that he's still subbed to the channel, even though me and him have had some pretty interesting debates in some of the comment section of some of the videos. I don't really do it with Smooth because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to kind of engage with him in that kind of banter too. So not trying to be nitpicky. It's just a bit jarring going from talking to silent source without a constant flow in the background. I got you, buddy. I'm trying to keep it going with, pausing in between and stuff. So
I
get what you're saying.
Opinion. I don't think I should have done that. But
so
that's kind of what started this, is getting involved with small commentary. I shouldn't have. I don't think I should have done that. I shouldn't have gone so hard on people, because that's what led to this situation. I saw it in my timeline, this DM, because I was tagged in the tweet, and I ignored it.
It's not even that. It's just, it's the problem, I think, with John Swan is the battles that he chooses, right? Is the stuff that he picks, the hills that he picks to die on, which are really, in my opinion, they're pretty fucking stupid. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They're pretty fucking stupid. I mean, you've had a situation with him, right, with the Pie Man stuff, right? Saying what he said to Pie Man and then putting it out there, and seemingly not ashamed at all of his stance, which is fine. He doesn't have to be. He could feel however he wants to feel. He could even feel justified in what he said to Pie Man. That's his right. But the thing is, when you hear the shit that he said to Pie Man, and again, keep in mind that Pie Man at the time, 15-year-old kid, and he's telling him stuff like, you're never going to recover from this, this is always going to haunt you and stuff like that, and essentially telling him that any aspirations that Pie Man had about having any kind of internet career, I guess within the YouTube space specifically, that's it, because this is always going to come, but this is always going to surface, right? The stuff that Pie Man said to another kid is going to surface. And granted, look, what Pie Man said to the girl that he was talking to, which I believe I think it was a 12-year-old girl. I think he said he was having inappropriate conversations. I think that most people would agree that, and I think the best thing to do would be to kind of advise them and be like, hey man, you shouldn't be talking to people like that. Really, kids of that age shouldn't be talking like that. But let's be real here. There's kids that talk about way worse. I mean, the only difference now is that you have, with the internet, the ability for it to be seen more because of people either broadcasting it themselves because they think they're being edgy and funny, or you have others that seem to be lying in wait all the time to try to expose other people for being just shitty, right? That seems to be the agenda these days. When you look at the YouTube landscape now and again, and this is true, especially with what's happened in commentary within the last, I don't know, I think it's fair to say 5+ years, maybe at this point, where now majority of it is people just trying to expose other people for misconduct, right? This situation that John finds himself in right now, with him really making a mountain out of a molehill with this girl situation with the Cammy kid, right? In order to expose him, to do this great big expose, John being the, this arbiter of truth and the guy that wants to be there, be the voice for victims, right? Quote unquote victims, that haven't actually gone through anything that we know of, right? That's provable. Wants to be this voice for them, to the point that he's willing to create a false narrative around it, right? To look like a hero. Anybody, and I would advise this of young fans of mine as well, right? If you're ever in a situation online where you feel that there is potentially an inappropriate conversation happening between you, if you're underage and you're having what you feel might be an inappropriate conversation with somebody else that is of adult age or more, and you feel some kind of way about it, don't run to a fucking YouTuber and tell them about it. Go to your parents, go to the police, especially if you feel that something illegal occurred or something illegal did occur. Maybe go to the police, right? Or go to your parents. Don't go to fucking a YouTuber. Don't go to John Swan. Don't slide in their DMs on Twitter. Don't go to Discord. Don't do any of that shit. Don't talk to your friends about it either. Because that's the other shit too, right? With this girl in the Cammy situation, she claims that, she was talking to her friends and they said, hey, he took advantage of you and whatever, this, that, or the other. Don't even listen to your fucking little friends who have no life experience, that don't know shit, right? Go speak to some adults that might actually know what the fuck is going on, that could see the situation, make a rational conclusion based on what you're telling them, and actually do something about it that's responsible, right? Instead of just this, going off half-cocked and trying to expose somebody and potentially ruin their life or label them as something, as I've said before, that could have some real-world implications in their life. Don't do that. Don't go to any YouTubers. Just, if you feel that you're wronged, like legit, that something happened or something illegal happened, go to your parents, go to the police. You know what I mean? That's it. Go to somebody with authority.
For the whole day, because I thought it was fake. I didn't think that situation was in any way real. And then A-Star hit me up.
A-Star
later on. I remember the next day or the same day. I can't remember now. But he hit me up later on, and he basically told me that you had admitted to him in a deleted message that you said it was all real. And
I believe A-Star was the guy who said that Chris Hansen was his predator. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's the one that said that. And he was, I think he was the guy that collabed on John Swan on his Chris Hansen video. Now, mind you, I've seen a couple of John Swan's videos, never been subbed to his channel. I did see his Chris Hansen video, and I thought that it was entertaining, but it really just amounted to conspiracy theory because there was nothing in there that I saw that he could substantiate, outside of just wild speculation that he had. There was nothing there that he substantiated. It was compelling. It was interesting, but I was like, this really is just tantamount to a conspiracy theory regarding Chris Hansen because he can't really prove any of the shit beyond a reasonable doubt. So
that kind of shocked me, right? I mean, naturally, I would be shocked because I had featured you on my channel. I interacted with you on Twitter. Of course, I memed on you, right? But I had no hard feelings towards you or anything. It was never like I hated Python or anything. It was never anything to do with that. I found it funny to meme. And looking back, I don't know if I should have, but I did, and I found it funny. And I didn't have any legitimate hard feelings towards you. I just thought you were, a dumb kid that did some dumb things, and that's okay because we're all kids at some point and we do dumb things. But I was shocked upon seeing that message. I was definitely taken aback.
See, the thing is, he really grilled him though for it. If y'all remember, he really grilled Pie Man and made him feel really bad about it. Made him seem like essentially his online life, and like I said, or any potential for a online career was pretty much over. It's like, your dreams are over. It's done.
A bit. And I said some things on Twitter that I very much regret looking back on now. I definitely was very emotional at that time. I shouldn't have let my emotions get the best of me, and I shouldn't have even engaged in the first place. But I did. And I did it. And I can't take back what I did because it's already done. But I can regret what I did. And I do regret what I said and what I did. And some of the things I said specifically. Because I don't hold those same opinions now. And my opinions have definitely changed on the subject. There's one thing that I still don't understand why you sent that message, and you don't have to tell me, and you don't have to.
His opinions on the situation were fucking stupid. That's it. That's pretty much it. And most people that think rationally thought so too.
You say anything about that? I keep on running through scenarios in my head about that message, and I don't know why you sent that. I really don't. I don't understand it. But I'm content. I'm content with just saying that you didn't understand and going on because I genuinely do not have an explanation, and I can't. I've never been able to figure out that part. So yeah, I still don't know. I still don't know why you said that, and you don't have to tell me, and you don't have to say anything about it. But I don't know, man. I still that was still a fucking strange message, man. And I think a lot of us can say that was fucking
not
strange.
John's fault
I think
I agree. Yeah,
I think
it was stupid. I agree.
I think if we were to say anything, that was definitely a message that raised a lot of red flags for a lot of people. And I still don't know why you sent it. But anyway, then okay. So with the Twitter stuff, I did clarify. Okay, I will say this because the tweets are gone now. But I do remember writing a tweet that specifically said, like, clarified in clear, plain English, and it got maybe 20 likes or something, that you are not a pedophile. I stated that on Twitter. And I don't blame you for not remembering that or not seeing that. And obviously, you don't have evidence of that. And obviously, you've got to take me by word here. But I did write a tweet like that. And I did clarify with 100% certainty that you were not on Twitter. And I really regret not archiving any of that now because it would have been very useful. But I did mention that on Twitter.
You essentially implied it, though. Like, he was grilling this kid, right? Remember, he was grilling this fucking kid and making him feel like that. You know what I mean? Basically saying that he was a pret. You know what I mean? So this whole shit, right? Yeah, I sped up the voice, Gelf, because I'm trying to get through it quicker because there's other calls. There's another leak call that I want to get to, which I'm not sure if it's covered in this video. If it is, then I won't have to actually go through it. One of them was going to be the Pie Man thing, but I didn't know that he had put it in this video. But there's a leaked call between John and Tipster, I believe, which I don't believe is. I don't know if it's in this video, but we'll find out. If it is, then that already killed two birds with one stone right there. So
I don't know if you remember that at all, but I did say that.
No, I think I remember it.
Okay, well that's good. That's good.
Yes.
So that's one thing that didn't make it in your video, which I would have liked to see, but obviously you didn't have
I should have put it in there. I guess in my mind I thought you were, sort of speaking out of both sides of your mouth, saying I'm not a pedo, and like I believed you were sort of insinuating it in other tweets.
The tweets that I made that were insinuating it were worded really poorly, and I should have worded them a lot better. Again, I'm the assumption that I shouldn't have gotten involved in the first place. But since I did get involved, we kind of have to look at what's there.
But it wasn't even just the tweets.
So much better. There were so many tweets that I look back now and I'm thinking, oh, the wording on that was so
shit. It wasn't
shit.
even just
it was like
the
the same thing with 2 years ago with the reaction commentary take that I had. Like the thing that I said and the words that, like the thing that I thought and the words that I put down.
It wasn't even just the tweets, though. It was on the call itself.
Were two completely different things, and I should have worded those so much better because I understand looking at those tweets what I was trying to say, but it just didn't come off the way that I intended for it to come off at all. And in a way, I'm very thankful that I did get flagged, so those tweets got taken down, so they didn't have as much of an impact.
It didn't come off the way
as they might have had, because I regret making those tweets because they are 100% phrased super terribly.
Yeah. I do think I can understand that because I'm not in your mind. I can't think. Well,
yeah, of course.
You thought it was a because now that I look at it from that perspective, I can definitely see how it could just be
See, it's funny because he always falls back. He always falls back on this trolling shit, right? Like, and the whole thing with the tweets, right? What he said earlier about the whole trolling thing. He always does that, right? Apparently, he had memes pre-made for this recent controversy of his, allegedly. And the thing is, that always seems to be a fallback of his, like, oh, it's just trolling and stuff like that. But the thing is, it doesn't help anything, especially when he's saying really, really dumb shit. It doesn't look good for him, especially when he's got his back against the wall already, right? His whole uncancelable tweet is just like, and he could try to argue, I guess, and I believe he has before in the past. He's tried to argue it as some kind of like defense mechanism, and it's just like, dude, just the best thing for you to do is probably just get offline. You're just adding fuel to the fire. You might see it as like, oh, I'm just doing it to defend myself. It's just a defense mechanism. I can't help it. It's just like, dude, by now you should have learned that when you've done shit that make people genuinely upset with you, the best thing to do is probably not continue to add fucking gasoline to the fire. Just step back, get the fuck offline, whatever it is you got to do, put down your phone. You don't have to clap back because it has never helped him before. It just makes him look worse every single time he's done it. Bandit, thank you for the 5. Appreciate it, buddy. A-Star was the one who leaked the DMs between Pie Man and the 12-year-old, which could, yeah. Yeah, the 12-year-old autistic friend of the family. Yes, I remember that. Yes, this is good stuff. Yeah. Good old fiction from John Swan.
It's just misworded. It really is just, I never thought you were a pedo, man. I never thought that. Never.
I just thought from
he never thought that, but it was totally okay with making Pie Man believe that, right? Or at least making that implication so that Pie Man would feel like absolute shit about it, right? That was okay, though. Make him feel like the biggest piece of shit for what he said. Now, granted, look, I'm not saying that I had to mollycoddle Pie Man, right? I think correction was in order for sure, especially you being an older person, right? An older, presumably wiser person advising a younger person like, hey, man, you probably shouldn't be talking like this to other people because it's just not appropriate. And honestly, I mean, look, you're a kid. She's a kid. this doesn't look good. I mean, but I know you're going to say a lot of dumb shit. You're only a kid, and this is probably not going to be the stupidest thing you're ever going to say, but it's probably best not to talk like this to people, right? Just for the sake of quote unquote being edgy, because it'll get you in trouble. You know what I mean? At the very least, if your parents are parents that give a shit, it'll get you in trouble with them. Because imagine if this girl's parents found out that you were having this conversation and somehow got a hold of your parents, right? Do shit like that to dissuade and advise this kid why he probably shouldn't be talking like that. Not this dumb shit of, oh, I never called you that, and I never, yeah, whatever, dude. You made him feel like shit about it. We all heard the call.
You don't have to justify because it's my wording and it's my fault here. So you don't have to justify anything. You don't have to read my mind because that's not what you're thinking. You can only look what's on the screen. But I'm giving you context because it's my job to do that, not your job. So you don't have to justify anything. So yeah, Twitter. There was some tweets that I regret making. I think it was maybe 2 tweets that I really do regret.
Only two.
There's one about urges. That one specifically I wanted to talk about. The context of what I was talking about there, it didn't mean like pedophile urges. It meant like not being able to control yourself, not being able to, think before you speak kind of urges, if you know what I mean. Like, I didn't mean that in the sense of you being a pedophile, because that's never what it was. It was in the sense of you not thinking before you speak. You're not.
He's so full of shit.
You get what I mean? You get what I mean?
You get what I mean? You get what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So that was what I meant by that tweet. But I obviously it came off super bad, and I can understand how that came off super bad. I don't blame you for thinking that or seeing that at all. Okay. And then came the Drama Time show. That was significantly. I think that was significantly less nuclear than the Twitter stuff. But there are still some things in there that I regret in the wording, specifically in the bit where I said this is going to haunt you forever. That bit was worded really poorly. But I what I was trying to say was this is going to always. People are always going to remember this in the community. It's never going to like leave you in the community. And I don't know if that was me, man. And I had 500 subs.
Look, people,
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to continue with that on my record. I mean, I give you props for putting yourself out there and doing that. I don't know if I would have done it personally, and I was speaking from my own personal thoughts. But the way that I worded that was really poorly again.
Because you're an idiot. Because you think about what he just said there, right? So I don't know if I would have continued on after that, dude. Pie Man is 15 years old. Like I said, not excusing what he said, right? What he said was grossly inappropriate. But again, you got to think back to being that age. When I was between the ages of 13, well into 17, 18 in high school, you know what I mean? I said a lot of dumb shit, said a lot of pretty grotesque stuff too, you know what I mean? To friends and otherwise. Kids say dumb shit, because they don't realize they don't have the maturity to realize how that can be taken, right? Unless they actually get in trouble for it. Which again, look, you tell Pie Man's parents, if they're parents that give a shit, obviously they're not going to be happy with him. He's probably going to get in trouble. Can't say what his home life is like or anything like that. But let's assume, right, he has normal parents that want what's best for him. They'll pull him aside, tell him, hey, you can't speak like that to people because of XYZ reason. This is why it's inappropriate, why you shouldn't do it, whatever. You know what I mean? Kids even younger than that, right, have said pretty ill shit that they don't understand, that they don't fully understand. They don't consider at all because they're kids. You know what I mean? They don't realize the implications of what they're saying. Like I said, there's kids that have said stuff that they just don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. And they've said it to other kids. That kid goes home, tells their mom gets mad, comes and tells the other kid's mom, and, shit like that happens. I said, Pie Man was probably thinking he was being edgy and he was being funny. And it was just, it was all good, that it wasn't going to be anything that was going to be really, really bad. It came out that he said what he said. Is it going to ruin the rest of his life? I don't think so. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Could it? Maybe. But the thing is, again, I think most people that are rational are not going to look at something a 15-year-old said and be like, you know what? I see that you're 25 years old now. We just got word that you said this when you're 15 years old to a 12-year-old. And you know what? We're going to hold it over you. And we're not going to allow you to apply for this job now or whatever. Right? That's, that doesn't seem like that likely of a scenario. I mean, unless Pie Man is a guy who lives his life online like Wings of Redemption, right? Where Wings of Redemption can't work anywhere because of because of how much he put himself out there. Literally can't hold the job down anywhere outside of streaming now. You know, does it have to be a situation that could haunt him? I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt it's really going to be something that's going to affect the rest of his life like that. It was a stupid thing he said when he was a kid. Again, not condoning it at all. Not appropriate what he said, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, again, probably not going to be the worst thing. If we're being realistic here, right? It's probably not going to be the worst thing he says to somebody. He's still got a lot of growing up to do and a lot of learning to do.
And say that your life is like, your online life is going to be ruined by it. That's not what I meant by that. I was just saying like people are always going to bring this up and people are always going to remember it. But the way I worded that was really, really shit. So
I mean, people are only going to bring it up.
I apologize for being
They'll bring it up insofar as look, as much as you, it just, I guess for Pie Man, it would depend on how big he gets and if he's a person who's like John, right? Who constantly reminds people of his fuck ups, right? In order to, I could only assume, in order to garner sympathy, right? If you keep reminding people, yeah, you know, and showing that you haven't really gotten over it, yeah, it's probably going to keep coming up because now you're showing people that it's something that still really bothers you. So of course they're going to weaponize it against you. If you just dust your shoulder off and just continue business as normal, and people see that they have no power over you using that thing, they're not going to keep bringing it up because they're going to say, oh, well, he doesn't give a shit. So whatever.
Emotional in that call. I shouldn't have been so erratic. It definitely was not aiding the situation anyway, and I apologize for that as well. I do think that you did skip out the last like 5 minutes or so, which I think would have been. I look back at that now. You know, the last 5 minutes of our call on drama time. I still don't see no problem with the advice that I gave you there, because I think now, and I think then I still think now that you are very attached to the online world, and I don't know if it's helping you in any way. You are. Am I wrong in saying that? Am I wrong in saying that you're super attached to the online world?
This seems kind of ironic, right? Coming from him, right? Who hinges so much of his own personal success, I guess you could say, in the online space.
I wouldn't say you're wrong.
Okay, well,
I think I'm less attached than I was at that time.
Yeah. The thing about the problem, okay, I heard from people that I know that you never really took a proper break from social media because you were still liking my tweets because I saw the notifications for them.
Who cares?
Who
gives a shit?
Okay, I caught you at 4K, liking the tweets a number of times while you were supposed to be on break.
So
I've heard from people that you were like active on Discord servers still, or active with your online friend group during the time you were supposed to be taking a break. I think you need a break, as in no online stuff. Like you need a log off of stuff, and you need to like not be on.
I mean, you noticed him liking all your tweets and stuff. So what does that say about you?
And I understand that might be a difficult thing.
Like I said, it's ironic.
You've got no friends in IRL.
No
well,
friends.
That's what you said before, but that could be true. That could not be true, but whatever. You really need to. Hold on, I need to word this properly. You really need to understand that you're going through like the most important part of your development right now. Your teenage years are super important, and the stuff that I said to you on the
Oh
podcast,
shit! Life advice from
was only
Swan.
coming from the best of places.
Oh my god!
I don't want your life to be like fucked up later, and I genuinely do believe that. And I genuinely am not trying to like, pussyfoot around this. It's you're going through a really important part in your life right now. Some of these people online, they're not your real friends, and you might think they are, but I can tell you from experience, a lot of these people, they're not your real friends. There are people.
See, even this guy smiling, he's like, "Oh, the fucking irony! The fucking irony!"
Out there, I'm sure there are, but the majority of them are probably not. When I started, when I was here in the beginning, about 2 and a bit years ago, probably right now, I met many people who I thought were real friends, but most people were not. Most people I've discovered certainly not. They were not legit people.
That's why you keep
they
your
stayed me later or something like that. And there's a bunch of examples, but I don't know, man. You've got to think about it yourself. This is one thing you need to think about because a lot of these people, you might think they're genuine right now, but 6 months, 9 months, a year from now,
This is ironic coming from him. He's like, you might think people are genuine. Just look at me, though.
Gotta be careful because this community is like super toxic and shit. And there's a lot of people that I have lost a lot of respect for. Because of
he's talking about himself right here.
The way that they conduct themselves.
He's talking about himself.
I saw one guy that I was cool with about 2.5 years ago has like completely flipped on me recently, and it's so weird to see. I like recognize his profile pic and I'm like, wait, we used to interact on Twitter? And I look back at his Twitter and yeah, we did. And he's completely flipped on me. So you gotta be careful, man, because this community is like, a lot of these people aren't real people.
Oh, this is so ironic.
The people in your real life, those are the people that are gonna stick by you for a while, and you've got to remember that. And I think it's you've got to.
He's basically warning Pie Man about himself. He's warning Pie Man about himself.
You've got to think about, socializing some more in the real world, because it's really important for you to do that right now. And that last 5 minutes of that podcast, I listened to it recently, and I still stand by that.
It's almost done.
But that was in the nuclear part of the podcast anyway, so I think that's perfectly fine for me to say. Yeah, I don't know. That's just where I stand with that. But you need to think about it. But obviously, I'm not going to have you make an answer right now. But I want you to think about it for sure.
Yep, this is before his time.
Okay, so drama time. Anything else there that I really regret saying? I've talked about the emotion. I've talked about the thing about haunting you forever. What was also there that was really bad? I feel like there was one more thing that I'm missing, but I can't remember now. No, it's gone. If I remember it later, I'll go back to it, but I can't remember now. Okay. I want to talk about the stream I did where I
oh no,
said you suicide baited. I want to talk about that.
Oh, here we go.
This is probably the hardest thing for me to say today.
Sorry, I'm really sorry, but I have to go now.
Oh, okay.
We can call back at another time or something, but
all right,
I need to go. Sorry.
So it's okay. It's okay. We're all good.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
My
I'll speak to you later.
goodness. I wonder what he was going to say to him.
And just like that, the call concludes. Now, as I said beforehand, I'll say again, I'd like you guys to note that John Swan was actually planning on using that purely for optics reasons. Again,
Of course.
to quote John Swan,
Of course he was.
there was no genuineness in that call. That call was recorded for a reason. There's a reason I have my hands on that recording. It's because it was sent to other people in order to be leaked maliciously. He planned on leaking this to the public just to try and gain favor, sympathy. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, and lying about how it got out publicly. There is absolutely nothing that is genuine about this guy. This is borderline, like, actual insane behavior from an individual to have done this multiple different times.
I mean, it's not surprising.
I don't even know. I don't even know how exactly to conclude the segment. I feel as though this call specifically is something that has flipped my view on John Swan pretty dramatically throughout.
Okay, so we'll stop right there. So I'm going to go over one more. He didn't cover it here. So this is another one of the leaked calls. So he went over the one, the Pie Man one. He had the Pie Man one. There's another one apparently though. I don't know when this took place, so this will be the first time that, we're going over it here or what the context is of this one. But we're going to go over this real quick and then we'll get into some Overwatch shit and then we'll continue talking about this hilarious dumpster fire. But this is apparently a leaked call between him and Tipster. Let's see what this is about. Okay.
Hey, dude, I just want to kind of clear some things up. I have DMs that I want to show you because I think, I don't know, there was some things said on that stream that I didn't actually watch it. I got a call from someone else about some family shit, so I had to tune out for a second. And then Nick had to give me the fucking rundown of what happened. But if we go up here,
I think we're gonna
the very top. I have information on someone that you used to be friends with. I need advice. I don't know if I got groomed or fucking used. It's so weird. I hope I can get some advice. I talked to Asa. I recommend I get advice. I want this to remain private, not to anyone. Do you know Cam I? I just want to tell you about what he possibly did to me. I was friends with him. He sexted me for weeks.
Oh, this is about this is about the Cammy stuff.
Can't imagine Cam doing something like that.
This is probably recent. Oh shit.
I'm so sorry this happened to you. This is really shitty. And I asked her for proof. Let's see, I'm just some friends. I didn't tell you about that. Don't say anything publicly. Where is it? Just other shit that's important.
Bandit says this is post Destiny stream. Okay, cool. See, I didn't know about this.
Unimportant stuff.
All right, come on, get to the point, Swan boy.
Only you can make the decision, of course.
Okay, he's going
Google
over the stuff.
Drive.
I mean,
I'll
who is
take
he
a look
talking to?
later.
I haven't heard.
All right.
Tipster hasn't
At
said
any
And then-
anything
point,
yet.
at
Oh,
any
there he is.
point that you tell her that she should go public, or did she come to that conclusion on her own?
Oh, there you go.
Decision on her own. Because I heard in the interim, because I hadn't DM'd her for a few days, I was not
Oh,
very
no!
involved. As you can see, there's just gaps here.
Already lying from the
I was told by the
beginning.
others that she told them she wanted to go public. I heard you want to go public. I want to.
Oh no!
Hmm.
I never implanted anything into her mind that said, go public with this. It was only
Damage
shit
control.
that she told other people. She said, I want to go public. And so
What
that
about
was
when
the
you?
end
What
of
about
that.
when you told Destiny you didn't want to cancel this guy? I'm looking at your Twitter timeline, and there's a lot of like signal boosting this stuff, and a lot of gloating about what's happening to him. I don't know about
Oh,
you, but that seems
no!
like you wanted to cancel this guy.
I don't remember what I said. I'm going to be honest.
I mean,
Um,
your whole timeline is
doesn't
like signal
recall.
boosting, like
He
memes
doesn't
about this shit
recall.
and everything. Like
Oops.
this seems very much like a coordinated attempt to cancel this guy.
Ooh, oh. Oh no,
I'm
the silence.
kind of confused. My whole timeline is a.
Okay.
Oh no.
I made one meme about it. Like that was it. I don't even think I signal boosted anything else. I
One
think I just tweeted the meme. I think that was it. Like I'm
you
looking
sure?
at it. I don't see anything. So
Yeah. I don't know.
I ended up
mean,
deleting that as well. I don't know.
it
That
just-
was
it just
literally
seems
it.
like with all the shit you've been involved in before that you haven't really learned anything. I think my biggest issue with you is you seem to act on impulse when it comes to this stuff,
Oh
rather than
no.
taking some time to like think it through.
That's
Because
that's
this was a
perfectly
colossal fuck
fair.
up. This is a colossal fuck
per-
up.
I'm going to be honest about the involvement that I had in this was so extremely minimal, and the reason that it was so minimal.
minimal. He's lying. Did you all see? Like somebody showed the changes that he made. Right when editing the document, that was not minimal. That was pretty significant because he literally changed the wording on stuff. Right. Let me see if I could find that screenshot because somebody shared it. The stuff that he changed was it changed the narrative completely of that because you have in the girl, right? The girl that behind all this, the lizard Lizzie, whatever the girl's name is, right? Lizard Lizzie or something. I don't know. Something to that effect. She basically was putting it out like that it wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? She did say her friends came to her about it. Oh, they're telling me this, that, or the other, right? But she didn't seem to think there was like, honestly, she didn't feel any kind of way about it. It seemed like she was more pressured into, again, if we're to believe her side of it, right? She claims to have really been more pressured into it by her friends, right? More than anything else. Like, oh, well, they say that something bad happened, so maybe they're right? I talked about this before on Crow's stream, as well as Sen's stream. I had mentioned this. It's kind of like when, if you guys remember, especially within the last like 10 years or so, right? We heard more and more about these situations where probably even more than 10 years ago at this point, where there was girls on college campuses that were essentially saying stuff to the effect of, saying things to the effect of like, if they had like, these drunken, they had these drunken encounters or whatever, right? With other people, they would tell their friends about it. And their friends would convince them of like, oh, well, that guy, I regret having relations with this one guy. We both got drunk and we both made bad decisions. Oh, well, that guy totally RIP'd you, right? Is what they would be told by friends. You should report him to the police because you totally got assaulted, even though it was just a mistake that was made, right? Didn't have anything to do at all with any kind of, actual assault happening. But that's the kind of shit that people that are just, crazy that have, that don't think rationally. Like it's one thing to not remember, right? To be drugged and not remember what happened. But if you've had a few drinks, right? And you're just drunk, but you remember what occurred and you just, your judgment was swayed and you made a bad decision that night, then you just made a bad decision. You know what I mean? has nothing to do with, you were assaulted or anything like that. Now look at this. You all heard what he just told Tipster. Here, let me show you guys this. This is a screenshot of apparently that, now again, allegedly, I'll say allegedly, right? So we have these, right? Read for yourself. Seems like it was a little more than correcting the girl's commas. He replaced a whole section of what Liz said in her testimony. Okay. So this person just kind of broke it down, right? What Liz said. After this continued, he made jokes and started liking it. After I asked him if he did, he continued on trying to ask me if I was okay multiple times. He was aware of my age, by the way, so he kept asking if it was weird or not. I'd tell him I didn't think it was weird. I really didn't think much of it. As it continued on, he said he was very quote unquote hard. You can say he basically told me he was pleasured by what I was saying to him. John's version. Cam used me for my own sexual pleasure when I was in a vulnerable state. He knew what he was doing was wrong, comparing his action to those of people who have been canceled from the community. He said how I made him happy. He called me cute, said I was his darling, and he made me feel appreciated and loved. But all he ever wanted was sexual pleasure, and he used me to get what he wanted. I'm ashamed that I ever took part in any of it. None of that, right? None of that sentiment is expressed in what's up here. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this shit was just saying this, that, or the other, and it just was what it was. And here you have a completely different iteration of that. Now, to further show that, I think this was what Aiden, who's formerly John's friend, right? So you see here, this is the stuff that was apparently changed, right? Right? And you see the stuff that John added. Right? You see most of you already are familiar with the Cam, right? A small commentator. All right. Cam took advantage of a minor in a vulnerable position and used her for his pleasure. He was the one who initiated the conversation and pivoted to talking about sexual subjects within 1.5 hours of the very first private convo with Liz. He continued with extremely explicit sexting for 2 weeks. Okay. And then, you see all these little things that were apparently changed to that document that were all John's doing. So there was a significant amount of wording changed there to paint it out to be a lot worse than what it actually was, or at least how the girl felt about it, right? Which changes the narrative completely. So let's get back to this call here, and then we'll get into some Overwatch.
I didn't want to fuck up something like this again. That's the reason I didn't want any involvement. I gave this to other people. So they
didn't want any involvement, yet
I didn't want involvement.
Actively
that was the
got
entire
involved.
thing. That's why I didn't write the document. I agreed that I'd edit little parts of it if they wanted me to edit little parts of it. That was all that I ever did in regards to that. I didn't have anything in relation to
those were significant edits, to make it seem like it was like I just changed a word here or there. No. You changed stuff to completely change the narrative. Okay. To make it seem a lot worse than what it actually was. He literally puts words in the girl's mouth, right? In that document. You saw it firsthand. He literally put words in her mouth. Stuff she didn't say, he added there himself.
Told Destiny you weren't involved in the
I wasn't involved with the writing of the document.
But you're telling me that you did some editing and stuff, so you were involved.
I wasn't involved with the writing of the document. When it was all written and all done, I went and it literally little bits that they were they sent me little bits and they're like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this?
Little bits
so
and
towards the end. That's
but you're talking about.
I went back and I clarified with him on that. So
there are little bits that he did change, right? But there are at least 2 paragraphs worth, right, where he's completely changing the narrative.
It was a miswording a little bit on my
part. Miswording.
Listen,
yep, that's what it is.
I don't want people to try and twist my words here, okay? When I say that I was not involved with the writing of the document, I mean that I was not involved with the writing of the document. I did not write the document. I came in afterwards, after it was written.
Here's the thing. He's trying to make a semantical argument, right? Because here's the thing. He's saying that he didn't have any involvement with the writing of it. But even that's not true because he's literally rewriting parts of the document while he's editing it.
What I did in terms of editing was nothing that would have changed the substance of the document. Everything that would have been before and after.
That's the biggest lie, right? Because at the core, the things he added did change the substance of the document. Because again, if you look at what she said, right? where she's very nonchalant about it and doesn't even really seem to mind or even care. It doesn't seem like she's really all that emotionally invested in any of this shit. It's just, oh yeah, this happened and whatever. But he's changing the words. He's changing the words to make it seem like it's a lot worse than what it actually was. Oh, I'm ashamed that this happened. He used me, this, that, or the other. The girl doesn't even say that herself. She doesn't even say like, oh, he used me. You know what I mean? Now, John, maybe in his mind, he's probably like, well, it was inferred. It was inferred by what she said. And maybe that's the way he perceived it like that. If he wants to say that, okay. But even still, though, he did change stuff, to reflect something completely different, a completely different sentiment than what was originally in there.
It would have been exactly the same with or without me there. It's just aesthetic changes purely. Grammar, spelling,
No. It's not
Nothing
just aesthetic.
integral to the document. So no, I didn't have anything to do with writing the document. That's not true. I did not write the document at
But
all.
he did.
I didn't write a word of
I
it.
guess it comes up to a difference of opinion because that sounds like you were involved to me. Maybe you didn't write the initial draft, but you were involved in the creation of the document.
It is such a small, minuscule degree.
I mean,
It-
I
is it
though?
disagree. I respectfully disagree.
How? If they sent me like 3 things that
You're
were like,
reviewing this.
I mean, look, y'all be the judge, y'all be the judge. Let's go back to it, right? Let's go back to it. I mean, does that seem minuscule? I mean, you have, half a paragraph here. You have one here. You have these little words here, sure. Right? These little, but even still, you know what I mean? That's a good portion of the document. You know what I mean? So, nah, bro. Nah, that's, like I said, it's significant enough to change the entire tone of that document.
Thing, and you're making changes to the thing. They're asking you for your opinion on this thing, and you're making changes as you see fit. You were involved in the creation of this document.
Let me pause it right there. GG Evans, thank you for the 5, buddy. I appreciate it. I feel like I'm listening to an episode of The Biggest Loser, and it's a dead tie between Tipster and John Swan. Oh, God bless you, GG.
I'm sorry, but like the amount that I was involved was so incredibly small.
I
I'm
disagree.
sorry.
I respectfully
And there was a reason
disagree.
that it was so incredibly small.
I'm sorry. I respectfully disagree.
Awkward silence. The
I
awkward
don't know
silence.
how-
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that based on what you showed me, that it looks like you weren't part of like trying to convince them to come forward, but you were involved in the creation of the document, 100%.
All right, let's say that I was. I don't agree with that, but let's just say that I was. Okay?
Let's play hypotheticals
I
now.
did all of this under the assumption that I was helping someone out. Because that is what they told me.
The path to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
They told me that this stuff had happened. And then I heard from Matt and Emma that they had confided in them other things about, manipulation, taking advantage.
So here's I can see where this is going, right? He's gonna make it seem like, look, I was just trying to do the right thing. And here's the thing. I don't think when you're actively trying to ruin somebody else, right? When you're doing what you're doing at the expense of somebody just for either, doing an expose for your own, for to up the view count of your channel, or because you want to feel good about yourself, that that you're willing to sacrifice somebody else on that altar, that of course, again, look, people can say what they want, right? If they want to criticize the Cammy guy for having this conversation, they absolutely should, right? It's not appropriate, and people should be careful online. And people can feel how they want to feel about that. However people want to feel about the ages involved, that's their right. Whatever opinion you have on that, that's fine. But again, look, it's, going out of your way to create this false narrative about somebody that, number one, you don't even know, right? You don't have, you don't have any feelings of them either way, but you say you're doing it for the sake of trying to do the right thing. I don't ever believe that when people say that shit online, because there's so many people that do this online activism, right? That requires the minimal amount of effort. And in this particular instance, think about it, right? a false narrative was crafted around this to do it. Now, again, look, not excusing what the Cammy guy did, the conversation he had, probably shouldn't be having conversations like that. Luckily, it didn't escalate to a degree where maybe, I at least from my understanding, there was no like images shared and things like that. Although the conversations that were being had, I haven't seen them, but I've heard, if they were actually, I've heard that they were explicit. And again, there might be some legal repercussions there, right? But I think most people look at those ages and they don't really they might frown upon it, sure, but it's not like it doesn't happen, right? The unfortunate truth is that stuff like that happens. I remember, and again, I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that it's appropriate. Obviously, it's not. But teenagers are going to do what teenagers are going to do, whether people tell them to or not, right? I think there's again, I've heard people say some pretty grotesque and vile things to each other, growing up, just out in front of other people. You know what I mean? I there's some really ill shit that you would hear people say to each other, when I was growing up. And it wasn't obviously, look, I'm not saying that it's something that people, applauded and was like, great that you said that. But it's way worse things that friends would tell me that they would talk about with their significant others and things like that growing up. And sometimes it was stuff that you didn't want to hear, just like, look, I don't really care about that, don't tell me about that. But I think everybody at some point in time has that one friend who doesn't know boundaries and is willing to share a lot of things that you don't want them to share with you, even though you've told them, hey, I don't want to hear about that. So there should be, more parents should be more involved with what their kids are doing. And, having conversations with them to make sure that they don't find themselves in situations like this, where they're talking inappropriately to other teenagers, whether they be people their age or older, because I don't think anybody wants to know that their kid is talking like this to anybody, any parent that gives a shit, right? And wants their kid to be a good, productive member of society. And, but it's just a shit, it's just shit that happens. I mean, I don't think that we can sit here and condemn. Look, at 18 years old, I know there seems to be a lot of people that look at people at the age of 18. There should be, by the time you reach that age, that adult, you're considered legally an adult. And I understand the society, when they see people that age, they expect a lot from them, right? They expect them to be much more responsible. And honestly, there should be more education for people that are entering their adult age, right? Their legal adult age, so that they can be a little bit more conscientious of the things that they're doing, and kind of, hey, look, probably not a good idea. I get that, you might only be a couple years apart from people that are still in high school. I mean, if you're at 18 years old, you could still be in high school. You should probably be careful with the things that you say and and especially the things that you do, right? I think there should be more of that happening. So it just it's one of those things. That I think maybe more education needs to happen. But kids are going to screw up. Like I said, I mean, I wouldn't sit there if I'm not going to condemn something that somebody does at 15 years old. At 18, it makes it, I mean, you just turn into a legally an adult. Can't really condemn, the Cammy kid too much, because I know for a fact that it's something that still happens, and it's something that's always happened. And not just with guys that are that age. Anybody that age can say and do really, could say really inappropriate things, right, to somebody that they probably shouldn't be saying them to, for the sake of them not getting into any kind of legal hot water, right? So it is what it is.
Them, etc., etc. Like, that's what I heard, and that's what I ran with, because that's what I was told. But now, obviously, they've changed their mind on that. But
Yeah, I mean, think about that too. What he's talking about here. I mean, does a guy that's 18 years old really deserve to get his life ruined because he said something? Sure. Again, like I said, you can feel how you want to feel about it. You can say that it's, it's not appropriate, obviously, and it's something that, again, there's some serious legal ramifications there, right? If you're 18, especially if there had been some kind of images exchanged, and like I said, for all we know, and again, I haven't seen the messages between Cammy and that girl. But if they were really raunchy or whatever, there could still be some kind of legal implications there if her parents were wanting to get involved. I remember that there was a friend of mine when I was growing up. He had just turned 18 when he had started dating this girl that when he was 17. He was 17, she was 15. And I remember while he was dating her, he turned 18 while he was still dating her. Now, mind you, he had relations with her, okay? And her mom found out, and he got arrested maybe like a month or two after he had turned 18. They had relations. Now, mind you, he started dating her when he was 17. She was 15. But he had just turned 18, and she was going to be turning 16, I think, in a few more months or whatever. She was going to be turning 16. They were almost exactly 2 years apart, right? And he ended up getting arrested. I'll never forget this. This is here in Florida too. And this is around the time when, back around that time, age of consent in Florida was 16 years old. With the law, it was crazy how the law was here. They changed that though, of course. It's not like that anymore. But I believe age of consent was 16 at the time. And at that point in time, if you were 16, you could be with somebody up to the age of 24 years old, and that person would not go to jail. You know what I mean? It covered that. Obviously, that went away. That's no longer a law here. That was maybe like, I think they got rid of that more than like 15, 16 years ago, something like that. They got rid of that. Age of consent in Florida is 19, I believe. But around that time, though, it was 16. Now, so the girl was not age of consent, okay? And my friend had just turned 18 when him and her had relations, and he got arrested for it. Luckily, though, the girl's mom had a change of heart, and she decided to drop the charge against him. But that was potentially a situation that could have ruined his life if he had been convicted. But she, out of anger, she called the cops. You know what I mean? And he did get arrested. So, I mean, now mind you, it wasn't a thing of like, he wasn't thinking, I'm an adult now and, my girl's a kid, but, shit happened, and his life was almost completely ruined because of it. If he had been convicted, if it had gone to court and he had been convicted, he would have had to register as a sex offender. So you can imagine how much that would have impacted his life moving forward. You know what I mean? Because he had just started college, and he had aspirations of business management, right? He was going to school for a degree in business management and stuff. So just, imagine how that would have impacted him getting jobs and stuff after that, while he was on his way to trying to get an education to eventually build his own business and stuff. Which, because he wasn't a person that had any kind of wealth. He was working while paying, he was basically a full-time college student with a job, paying off his bills with his job. You know what I mean? And that's what he was going to be doing for at least 2.5 years to get an associate's degree. But he was trying to also, he was going to go to school for the long term, but just to get an associate's degree would have been like 2.5 years and stuff. But he was trying to go for like a bachelor's degree and stuff. So you could just imagine, like I said, he would have had to continue to work in order to be able to pay for his schooling, because there was nobody paying for his school. He was paying for his school on his own dime, from money that he had saved up and from a little bit of money that his parents had saved up for him. But he was paying for his schooling. So could you imagine that though? If he had to register as an offender, and they do a background check on him because he's trying to get a better job to pay for his classes and stuff like that. Wild shit. Luckily, though, like I said, he lucked out because she had a change of heart and she was like, all right, she dropped the charges on him.
That is what I was told. That's what I ran with. That's the reason I said that. That's the reason I got them in touch with the other people. Like that is the reason. I only had the best intentions. It was never about a clout thing or getting back at anyone. It was for the best.
I mean, I know.
Yes, it was. Look, he was trying to come back with this big expose. You know what I mean? I'm sure he was trying to, again, do something where he can ingratiate himself to the community and make it seem like I'm this person that cares. Look at me. I'm a hero. I'm exposing Preds within the community. That seemed like that was the plan, right? Just kind of like how he basically turned on Technicals, right? Who he was on good terms with, but basically just to ingratiate himself to not only the community of the friends that had turned their backs on him, right, over his last fuck up, to ingratiate himself with them and their communities again. He was willing to turn his back on this other guy who he had no problems with up until that point, just to be opportunistic, though. And then on top of everything else, go with the whole narrative that was being brought up against Technical's brother, right? Using that. So he's a weasel. He should change his name from, it shouldn't be John Swan anymore. He's just a snake, right? Thank you, GG Evans, for a 10. Appreciate it, bud. I don't know if you know this, John, but child marriage is still a thing in the U.S. I had a friend, 13 in middle school, who was set to marry a dude who was 18 going into college the next year. Oh my gosh. I mean, I believe I know in some states, I think it still is a thing. I think in Nevada, I believe that's something that is still, I could be wrong about that though, but I thought I had heard that in Nevada that was still, or New Mexico, it could be one of those. I know one of those Western states that supposedly there's still laws like that, where they can get, if they get their parents' permission, they could still marry somebody that is of adult age and stuff. So
it wasn't a clout thing because like this guy's smaller than you, isn't he? So like,
Yeah,
how's it gonna be a clout thing?
I mean, it could absolutely be a clout thing because again, it'll look like John is being this great hero that he's not, that he's willing to. Here's the thing, right? It doesn't matter that the guy is smaller, right? Because if John just looks like he's looking out for the community at large, that would be a win for him, wouldn't it? If he looks like, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 subs, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000,000 subs. If you're doing the wrong thing, I'm going to expose you and I'm going to, die on that hill for these quote unquote victims, right? Because remember, that's what he said in the Zero situation, right? That with Katie, right? He was saying, that he would essentially die on that hill, that he would be the voice for these quote unquote victims. So that's, to me, that right there is more than enough reason, right? Make himself look like the hero. John Swan, the hero.
Of course not. But I mean, I have been told that you didn't like this guy. And be honest, you didn't like this guy, right?
I didn't really. I just found him kind of annoying. I don't think it really extended beyond that. He really didn't like me.
So if I see screenshots of you shitting on this guy that you don't like this guy, then I'm not going to find that, right? That's not going to happen.
I don't think you will find anything.
Okay. It seems like he's baiting him right there. It seems like Tips are trying to say, well, I already got screenshots.
Okay.
I don't believe that. If anything,
granted, to be fair, I don't do commentary anymore, so I'm not going to do any digging. But I mean, like, if this comes my way, then it's like, okay, well, I mean, he lied again.
That's fine. Boy. If there's anything, it's going to be me calling him annoying or cringe because that's all I ever thought he was. It wasn't a genuine.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's all it was, John?
Definitely not. There was no reason to. He hadn't done anything to me.
Oh my.
That wasn't the way. But I knew him. Like I used to talk to him on and off in servers and stuff, and that's kind of the reason it was so shocking. Because it was obviously I even told Liz in the DMs, like, are you sure this is him? Like are you sure? Like I can't imagine him ever doing anything like this.
Yo, what's up, John?
Awesome.
What's up? I was watching your stream. I decided to hop on. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So you going over just to call with Tips?
This is a leak call, I guess, that happened after after everything just kind of blew up, and he was like trying to tell Tipster, like, oh, I didn't do it, mate. It's not what you think. It's like I can prove my innocence, and it's just like so far it hasn't been convincing at all. You know.
Yeah, so it's just everybody like getting their shot at John, I guess, right?
That's what it seems like. I mean, new like calls and stuff are seemingly leaking every day now. You know, we had the screenshots of everybody leaking, and I was saying earlier, you know, in fairness, right? I think there's going to be some people that leak shit that isn't relevant at all to any of this. That just is it's just going to be stuff that just makes John Swan look like an asshole. You know what I mean? They're going to take the opportunity, but you know, I think the people with like the most legitimate, maybe you could answer this for me. You know, and I think the only guy that like seems to have some kind of legitimate reason to be upset, and maybe not, maybe he's been pissed with John Swan for a long time. You had him on your stream, the Aiden kid, right? Because wasn't he like one of the hardcore defenders of John when shit went to hell in the handbasket a few months back? Wasn't he like one of the few people defending him?
I heard him talking in Augie's, and he was like, "I don't think I'm gonna pile on." And I think that everything that's been said about John that's criticized worthy has already been said. So at this point, anything else is just gonna, I guess, meant to make him look like shit, which is fine. But like he said that he thinks everything that's been criticizable for him has already been out there.
Is already been put out there by him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not just out there in general.
Yeah, but wasn't he like one of the people that was actually like cool with him, like really cool with him?
Yeah, during the truce, he was saying how he had respect for John because he was the only one who didn't back off of the technicals thing or back away from it. But Augie and all of them did.
Yeah. Well, things have changed.
Yeah.
All right, let's see for the rest of this call.
I never thought he'd be able to do anything like that. But I guess I was kind of wrong in that respect. That's what kind of shocked me, I guess.
So, when you kind of like they wrote the document and then like you kind of like they asked you for your advice on it, and you kind of like chimed in with your advice, and you said you did like some editing of it where you felt like it would help.
Yeah, very minimal, but
very minimal.
So there was editing done, correct, on your part. So when you say in this post on Twitter, I did not write a word of that document, you're being dishonest.
I clarified in the tweet, just literally just directing him. I don't know. That was kind of worded a bit shit, but like, I didn't write a word of the original, like the actual meat and potatoes. I didn't write a word of that.
I like
the shit that matters. I didn't write a word of. Like clearly, like
the shit that
you know
matters. Oh no! You hear this, bro? I like how when he's caught, he's like, I'm
trying to say, right? It doesn't like I didn't write a word.
I'm going to be
anything that matters on this.
I'm going to be honest with you. This seems carefully worded in a way to deliberately save your own skin. Which I understand considering all the shit you've been through, but dude, like you shouldn't even been in this situation in the first place.
Dude, I don't even know how my name got brought up and I wasn't even involved. That's
other than you,
but he was involved.
Like, you don't have to name the people, but other than you, who was the oldest person involved in this situation?
Same age as me.
Same age as you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you and this other person were the adults in this situation.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This is so bad.
Although I didn't really check in. I just let them do.
He didn't check in. You didn't check in. Bandit, thank you for the 5. Appreciate it, buddy. I didn't write a word. Swan is actually telling the truth. He didn't write a word. He wrote many words. Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever. Like I didn't want involvement. I thought it was fucked up. And that's why I gave them the information. But I didn't check in. I didn't go in and like change things in the middle. I didn't help them write it. Like anything that was significant, I did not have any involvement. Any edits I made were aesthetic purely. There was nothing meat and potatoes.
I think it's the contrary. I think the most significant changes he was involved with because he made those changes.
Okay.
That's what I mean when I say I didn't write a word of it.
He put the most significant wording into the
I
document.
really didn't. Like, I didn't write anything.
Okay. I mean,
because it's the stuff that changed the narrative of the entire document. You know,
more changes is like, yeah, okay, you can make the argument. Okay, worded poorly.
It reflected, it reflected the worst possible view.
Okay, cool. I didn't write anything of substance.
Anything of such.
Like I said, I think it comes down to a difference of opinion. Don't worry, I'm not gonna like fucking release this call, or I'm not gonna do some fucking video. I don't do commentary shit anymore. I don't give a fuck.
Who released this call?
Quite frankly,
I don't know. Whoever this is, I don't know whose channel this is, but I'm not gonna release this call. It makes you wonder though, who did? Who released the call?
Who's the only one that would be able to wait? Did Tipster tell him off the bat, I'm gonna record this?
I have no idea. He said he wasn't going to release the call. I didn't hear that in the beginning of the call. Maybe he said it. I don't know. Before he started recording, who knows? I mean, it would have probably helped to record him saying that. But, the call got out.
I think
So
I don't know. Maybe Tipster leaked it.
Maybe.
the current state of the commentary community is garbage. So I want no involvement in it. But I'm just telling you how I feel about it. This seems dishonest. That's just where I'm at.
Did Tipster say the commentary?
I don't know,
community
dude.
is garbage?
Yep. He said the current state
Oh.
of the commentary community is
Current
garbage.
state, I mean, it's been garbage for a while, but that's only because you've had garbage leadership.
Yep. Yeah.
Something doesn't become garbage unless the people at the top are running it.
Yep.
Who are the people at the top that are running it? Well, it was Augie, it was Tommy C, it was Nick before he was like wandering off into Bread2 world, and Tipster, kind of, as well. He was the one holding people accountable, right? So yeah, it is garbage. I agree, and you want to dismiss your leadership a bit, and say, "Oh, no part in making this shit." Well, yeah, all right, Tipster, good on you, man. He knows when to pull out, at least, right?
So, let's see.
I only ever did this with the best of intentions. I would never hand anyone something that I thought was sketchy. Like I really didn't try to do that. It was all to try and support the girl, and it ended up not being that at all. I tried to limit my involvement.
You wanted to be the hero
I was brought
that
up
she needed, but
again
didn't
out of the
deserve.
blue, and I didn't even want anything to do with it.
Yeah. At the very least, I think it's safe to say we could probably both agree that after everything you've been through, you probably should have, like, as soon as this was brought to you, like, yeah, I don't want to be involved.
Nobody should be. Not just him. Not anybody.
It's easier said than done, though, right?
It's
if
easier
someone comes to you about a former friend,
what do you mean it's
and
easier
drops
said
some,
than
like,
done?
oh, he grew me, etc., like, it's really hard to just say nothing and like, oh, I'm not going to get involved.
Oh, here
I
you
mean,
go.
I'll be honest with you.
Hero complex.
Let me clarify that it hasn't been something to this extent, but I've like, yeah, I don't want to take part in that. I've definitely turned people away. Like, yeah, I don't want to be involved in that.
I don't know if I.
And in fairness to you, the things I've turned away haven't been like as severe of an allegation, but still, I've definitely turned things away where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to take part in that.
Yeah, I get you.
Ultimately, when you do stuff like this,
nobody
you're putting
should.
your own
Nobody
reputation
should.
on the line. So you have to
Once
really
again,
think
though,
these things through
well, actually, I never like I was not involved directly in this like, in any significant way.
He keeps
Like,
going
this
back to
was
that.
me getting them in touch with other
I wasn't
people
involved.
and them sending me little bits and going, "Is this fun?" And that was the extent.
Oh my gosh!
All right,
like that was literally. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like it's been like a fucking roller coaster of a day, and my fucking mind has been going a million miles an hour, and
yeah, I would imagine so.
Wait, can you pause this?
It's
why the fuck is like why is like I kind of wonder why is this even happening? Like this fucking how old is John? This 20-year-old
He's
guy
like
from
20.
Australia
Yeah.
freaking out to like some 35-year-old cow beast man on the internet over the internet. They're fucking miles apart from each other and they're having like a mini therapy session about their fucking image on the internet, right?
Yep. I don't know,
fuck is
man.
this?
It's weird. That's the
These
thing.
guys
it's
are
just-
fucking losers, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Well, the thing is, look again. He didn't have to get involved in any of this shit. This is what I mean. It's just like, don't.
Like, when the
people
fuck
should-
have you, me, or Crow ever done this shit? Oh my god,
Never. Never, bro.
midlife
I never-
crisis time or something.
Nah,
Decided to get heavily involved in a 20-year-old's drama,
Yeah.
and then the said 20-year-old's like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this.
What-
However, will I recover from Tommy C doing this to me or something?
It's-
Like, no.
It's so stupid, man, because it's just like, look, you don't. That's the thing. It's just like you're stressing about a situation. Number one, that you didn't have to get involved in. Number two, it's just like it's dumb. It's internet shit. This is what I always talk about. It's stupid internet shit. And again, it's not a thing of like, oh, hey, well, you know what the one kid did was obviously inappropriate, whatever. But there's worse shit that happens. You know what I mean? And this whole thing of trying to be like, you know, earlier in the call, I don't know if you heard that part of the call where he was saying like, well, I didn't do it for clout or anything like that. And I'm like, yes, you did. You know what I mean? And Tips was like, oh, I don't think so either because the guy only has like 1,000 subs or something. I'm like, that doesn't matter because what John is trying to do is look like a fucking hero. Like he's trying to make it seem like he's going to, you know, police the community to a certain degree, or at least look at the community and be like, well, I don't care if somebody has 1,000 subs
Just
or a
buy
million
puppy
subs
or something,
or a
take
million
care of
subs.
that.
I'm going to expose anybody that does bad shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna make sure the light is the best disinfectant for all this shit. Like, it doesn't matter that the guy has only 1,000 subs. I mean, you could look like a good guy, right? If you're exposing a guy as a quote unquote pred, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that's preying upon, you know, fans, you know, using their power dynamic or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Or however, you know, whatever buzzword you want to use or whatever fucking thing you want to say to justify doing whatever it is you're going to do to them to potentially ruin them, right?
Yeah.
You know, he'll look like a hero. It doesn't matter that the guy only has 1,000 subs. He's just like, oh, I'm exposing this creep that's trying to come up in the community. Let's put a stop to him. You know, it doesn't. So if that goes over well, then it's a win, quote unquote, you know, optically for him, right? So it's just, it doesn't matter.
It's definitely been very stressful. But
it doesn't matter if the guy has 1,000 subs.
I don't know.
Well,
probably the streams as well. It's pretty shit. I could have worded better as well.
Yeah, it's very, very loserish.
That was a pretty big
behavior,
fucking stream to go on to get dragged onto, right?
Yeah,
bro.
That's just
imagine that shit. Getting fucking lambasted by.
Well, I mean, at least you know where I stand.
Mr. Girl.
You know?
Well, more so.
Yeah,
Girl.
I get you. I don't know if I agree with everything you're saying, but hopefully, like, I don't know, you get a little bit more context into what was happening.
Damage control.
Well, I appreciate you sharing it with me.
All right, not a problem, man.
Well, take it easy, man.
That's it. That's the call. That's the call.
Big tip.
So this will be the last thing we go over here. Then I'm gonna hop on and do some Overwatch for a little bit here. But check this out. So this is the one of the this is the DM between him and the girl, right? Plotting on April 16th. Okay, there's two ways you can go with this. One, I believe, is a lot better than the other, but they both have upsides and downsides. And here's the girl, I believe, is like Lizard Lizzie or some shit, right? Option one is you stay completely anonymous and have someone else write a Google Doc on your behalf. Your name would be censored from the screenshots. The downsides of this is that people may not believe it because they have seen a real quote unquote victim. If it's all anonymous, how do they know it's not all made up? It'll probably lead to a lot of people doubting the story. However, at the same time, it saves you public embarrassment and from you having to do anything at all. Option two is to release something yourself, maybe in conjunction with someone else's document or with your own. Obviously, this means that your name will be thrown around when talking about this stuff. I can recognize that the screenshots are pretty embarrassing, and having that stuff attached to your name online is definitely not optimal. But I believe it's the best option because it ensures that everything is perfectly watertight with no room for doubt or for Cam to get a way out. The upside is that your name is pretty generic, and I know you've already changed it several times over the past few years or so. That might be a good idea if you decide to go ahead with this. All right. That's all the girls. All right. So, yeah, he seemed to have a pretty good grasp of the situation, regardless of what he's been saying and what his intentions were. So, yeah, I think he's full of shit. And I don't think there's going to be, this is not going to be isolated. I mean, if he hasn't learned anything to this point, I don't see him really learning much else from anything else. Any of the other situations. Yeah, I don't think he's going to learn. I mean, he's already had situation after situation, and he's really shown no ability to grow from it. Like I said, even with this last one, and I said this on Crow Stream, you were there. I was like, even though it would have still looked bad for him, right? Mm-hmm. This whole situation that he just found himself in, at least him showing or him like taking some accountability for it, which shows some degree of maturity and growth. Like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I was involved in this. I went into it half cocked. I screwed up. You know what I mean? And I was involved in editing the document and doing this and doing that. and whatever else, right? At least it would show some degree of, to some people, I mean, it would still be bad. It would still look bad on him, but it would show some degree of like growth and maturity to be like, oh, well, you know what? Even though he messed up, he's showing that, you know, he's being mature about the situation, right? But not even that. Like, he can't even do that. Like, he still does the same exact shit where he just lies, and then when he gets caught in the lie, he continues to lie. It's just like, no, bro, that's like, you haven't learned that's what fucked you over with the dream situation. You know? So that's
he
fine.
doesn't learn, John. He doesn't.
He don't, man. He don't. He gonna learn today. No, probably not.
Probably not.
I don't think if he hasn't this far, I just don't. I don't see any scenario. I mean, maybe someday. I mean, he is only 20 years old, but like by now, it's just like, dude, take some of that criticism that people have been giving you to heart and try to do something. So I'm booting up Overwatch right now. I will download Destiny.
I'm actually on Destiny, John.
You're on Destiny. Well, we'll have to do a Destiny stream soon. I'm getting Overwatch up here so we can. Are you gonna play a few rounds with me while we talk a little bit more about this dumb shit? This dumbass bullshit.
I'll still talk to you, but I'm doing matches with Fox right now.
All right, so he's doing matches with the Fox. Zombie Fox?
Zombie Fox, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's my boy, Zombie Fox.
Zombie Fox, yeah.
Tell that man. I said what's up. Because he's not here.
All right.
So let me get this one. Oh, thank you so much, Bandit, for the 10. Diorio is already trying to give Swan a redemption arc. He wants to interview him to get his side. Funny how when Tech did that for Zero, Nick crucified him for being too soft. Yeah, I'm not surprised because the first one, I think, wasn't he the first one to forgive John Swan the first time after the screw up? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Sin.
Who was it?
Bandit said Diorio is already trying to give Swan a redemption arc. He wants to interview him to get his side. Funny how when Tech did that for Zero, Nick crucified him for being too soft. Bloated hypocrite.
I don't know if he does. I wouldn't put it past him. I would say, yeah, he probably does, or probably would do that.
Yeah, see, to me, it's just like, because from what I recall, he was the first one to forgive John Swan the first time. It seemed like, or I could be wrong about that. Or was it somebody else?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I could have sworn that's how it went down. Like he was the first one to be like, oh, he's forgiven. And I know, especially after the fucking technicals video, he was just like, welcome back, John Swan. And then everybody was welcome back, John Swan. I was like, and we see how well that went for them, right? Oh my goodness. All right, let's do this real quick here. All right, I'm going to boot this bad boy up here. We're going to continue to talk about this shit. Zugro said exactly.
Honestly, I feel really unenthusiastic to talk about like either Augie or Nick's community, or even them as a whole, because it's like it doesn't even matter, really.
No, none of it does.
No, and the reason it doesn't matter is because the people in their community are stupid. Not as an ad hom, they just generally they're either naive or stupid. But I don't want to give them charitability, so I'm just going to call them stupid.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
There's actually one in particular that admitted that Augie's inconsistent and wrong on most shit, but he said he just doesn't care because it's Augie and he thinks he's cool. It's kind of retarded, but
no, this is what it is.
As long as he feels part of something bigger, all that matters.
Yeah, I don't think it'll let me share the window. What the heck?
Yeah, John, you need to get better at this. Maybe
try
OBS.
Yeah. I should have done OBS today. I'll probably do it for the next stream because GG Evans was telling me I should play some music and stuff. So maybe I should do that.
Play some music in the background?
Yeah, play some music in the background and shit. Put some tunes on and stuff. I was like, man, maybe you're right.
What kind of tunes are you going to put
I have no idea. I'll take suggestions for that, though. For sure.
Music?
Yeah, music-wise. Yeah. See what the people want. What do the people want? Anybody have any suggestions? Put them in the comments.
Put on some I know some southern music, John. It'll go good with your
Gigi,
your southern charm.
my southern charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Gigi Evans says, one last thing, the Orient tips are clashed, and the final words were, the community ain't big enough for the both of us.
I mean, that's true. They're both too fat.
Of course you would say that. Of course you would. Hold on, I'll be right back, Sunfield. Hold it down for me. Hold it down for me.
All right. Holding it down for the John. For the John Meister. Oh, and I get no help in this fucking game. GG. I wish I could show you what's going on the screen. There's a war happening right now, guys. My teammate just died trying to res me. GG. He went flying too. He got a shotgun to the head and everything. God help him. Also, I can't see chat, so sorry if I cannot communicate. There's no text to speech either, so I can't hear you guys if you do try to get my attention with a dono. Though I would prefer if you donate to me, because, of course, everything's about me. Check. I was actually going to put out a rant today about like the John Swan drama commentary, but I just stopped giving a shit, and instead I think I talked to Redsky. Instead, I spend my time doing that at the end of the day.
All right, I'm back. Can't seem to get this shit to work, so we'll probably have to. You'll probably just have to hear me play, but I'll probably call the stream soon.
That's like
Yeah.
that
I can't get it on. Hold on, let me see. Let me try it.
Just use a screen share.
That's what I'm trying to do. It's not letting me screen
How
share.
does Flash do it? Because Flash does that shit, don't he?
Oh, he does? He does it with StreamYard? Thank you, Gigi, for the 2. I'll send you some tracks on Twitter, John. All right. That sounds good, bro. I appreciate it. Let me see if I could get it. I don't know how Flash does it. Let me see. I'm going to try it, though, real quick.
I'm sure he does do it.
Let me see. He does it with StreamYard, right? I've done it before, too, but it's not letting me do it for some reason.
I'm sure because he always uses StreamYard. I don't think I've ever seen him use OBS.
Yeah. Just doing StreamYard for a little bit. Let me see. Let's see. Where is it at? Yeah, it's not letting me do it here. So weird. I'll probably try something else though in the meantime. Let me get rid of this real quick.
John, do you have any idea why, like real talk, Augie's fans might be like mentally impaired a little bit?
I have no idea.
Like,
I think
they're like, do you think they like go out of their way to act stupid, or they're legitimately that dumb?
I think that he caters to a very a younger fan base. I don't know his demographic, but obviously a younger base that is
yeah, because when I say retarded, I genuinely mean, like, not as an insult. I genuinely mean their brain cells are underdeveloped and they have some mental issues. Because there's just no way somebody can lack that much self-awareness, and it's just so stupid.
I think that part of it does come down to, I think it's more of a maturity thing than anything else. I think I could be wrong. But I think that that's probably what plays into the shit. You know what I mean? I think he caters to a much younger base, and they're people that, they haven't fully, I'm thinking probably a teenage to an early 20s adult base. You know what I mean? Maybe. And they're people that just haven't fully that's just people that don't have a lot of life experience that think LOL is funny.
Experience in general.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just people that just, they don't really know a lot of shit outside of the internet. I think he caters to an audience that really is like focused on internet culture more than anything else, and just, don't go outside much. Maybe not. It could be completely wrong. You know what I mean? but I think that that's probably what it is. It's probably just really more just a more immature base, younger base that doesn't have a lot of life experience, and just they like edgy shit. You know what I mean? Which again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
edgy. He's a bitch. He can't even be edgy. He's too much of a fucking pussy. Like he's like the fake edgy, where you're like, oh, I'm gonna be edgy. You're not actually edgy. You're just a pussy. He freaked out at me saying the N-word. That was like literally the only purpose of it.
Yeah, you told me about.
I never do. He legitimately got so freaked out. He was trying to get me kicked off based off of that. I wanted to see how he would act, right? Because it's the fucking idiot that always plays around with saying the hard R, right? He never actually does it, but him and his fans love to pretend like they can do it. So I just do it, and what happens? Oh, Augie falls apart, and then his fan base are like, "Oh, you're so racist!" And like, you guys are retarded. You guys are the ones spelling out the N word on your chats like pussies, never actually saying the damn thing. You guys are fake and fucking soft. That's it.
See, like I know that you and him had it out, and I know that you challenged him on some stuff, and he left one of the streams, or he told somebody to like boot you from the stream, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Actually, he muted me multiple times the first time. He got me banned eventually. What do you call it? And then the second time around, he was like, oh, you gotta get rid of him, otherwise I won't come on. And then I rejoined, because they wanted to see a confrontation, see what happens. And he ends up leaving. That's so wild. He leaves, and everybody's like, oh no, Aki, our leader has left. Whatever will we do? See, that's what I mean by I'm going to take Tommy C's word for it when he says that Augie was the leader of commentary now. And yeah, you know what? I can actually see it, because everything went down the shitter. Everybody fucking sucks now. And everybody's trash, and even Tipster's getting his fat ass out of there for a bit.
Like I said, I can only speculate on what it is. I mean, if his demographic is 18 to 35, then that or anything like that, then I would say that there's probably a lot of people in their 30s that are very immature. But hey, look, to each their own, right? I mean, again, I think it's just people that don't really have. They probably don't have much going for them outside of being online. Not all, but probably a good portion, because that's the thing. It's just I see that a lot of people, and this is not exclusive to just Augie or anything like that. I think there's a lot of people online that they let it validate who they are as a person. You know what I mean? That it gives them a sense of self-importance. And I guess, look, if that's the way you got to get it, if this is the only time that you've ever felt good about yourself, you know what I mean? Then you do you. Good. I guess, you know what I mean? If this is the only thing that you got going for you, the only positive thing you got going for you in your life, and again, this could be him, this could be them, I don't know. But I guess good for you. I mean, do what you got to do to keep that going, to keep your confidence up, I guess. But at some point in time, people got to remember with the online shit, all good things come to an end. They all come to an end. So eventually, I mean, even for somebody like PewDiePie, right? You talk about a guy who has millions upon millions of subs. Eventually, that's going to come to an end one day, and he's going to move on from it, and he's going to do other things. The dude's already he can retire tomorrow and he'll be fine. Dude's a multimillionaire.
PewDiePie?
Yeah, bro. PewDiePie, yeah, bro.
You're right.
He's he could retire tomorrow, bro, and it's not going to be any sweat for him to do it. I mean, he's already made what he needs to.
He got his bag.
Yeah, right now, if what he's doing now, he's just doing it because it's something he enjoys to do. He enjoys doing it, so he's going to continue doing it for the time being. But once that's done, once that passion's gone, he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to retire today. He can do that. Like I said, he could do it tomorrow, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. These people on the come up, right? This stuff, they're not there yet. I mean, maybe eventually they could get there. It's certainly possible. But there's going to be a lot of what PewDiePie does. There's going to be a lot of what he's done online is obviously something that he's broken that mold, right? Where he's gone to the point where he can be, on a very small degree, he can be viewed as somebody that's a part of pop culture to a very small degree, right? Because of what he was able to accomplish in the online space. He's been on You know, he's been on talk shows, right? He's been on like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or whatever. You know, he's managed to cross that threshold. But if you still look at it in the grander scheme of things, even somebody with as millions of subs as him, right, who's known throughout the world but only online, if he were to walk down the street somewhere, he's not going to be recognized, say, like somebody like, Tom Cruise, right? If Tom Cruise were to walk down the street, it's more likely to be recognized than PewDiePie. Granted,
Yeah.
He's had a career that's been longer, but he's had that kind of, that kind of success throughout the world. And even other celebrities that maybe have been around and have become big stars within the last like 10 years, like Chris Pratt, right? I think Chris Pratt is one of those guys. He hasn't been around as long as Tom Cruise, but his like level of success and the fact that he's been in blockbuster after blockbuster movie and things like that, he's become really famous now. And, he's been acting for a while. It's not like he's new to the scene, but he's really blown up, especially within the last, I'd say, 10 to 12 years, he's really blown up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's a guy that will be recognized if he walks down the street. I would garner, that he'll probably be more recognized than, say, PewDiePie. And PewDiePie's been at it for over 10 years now too. But again, his fame is mostly confined to the internet space first and foremost. It's still niche. Despite everything, it's still a niche following that he has. So
yeah, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like, all right, so I'm just gonna do some Halo Infinite. I'm gonna try mouse and keyboard for a little bit.
Halo? I thought you were gonna do.
I can't get it to, for whatever reason, it's not letting me screen share that. It's weird. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of Halo Infinite. So sorry, I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail afterwards. Since it's something
you can get Halo Infinite running on the screen, but you can't get.
I don't know why it wouldn't let me run Overwatch. It won't let me run Overwatch for some reason. It wouldn't let me. What the heck? Now this is. What did it just? It just took away freaking. All right. Yeah, an Overwatch. Sorry, folks. Hold on. Now I gotta fix this shit. This shit is acting up. Hold on. So.
This is all a sign you should get Destiny, John.
This is probably a sign. Yeah, maybe I should get Destiny. Maybe I should. Sen might be onto something. Maybe I should just get Destiny. Maybe I'll go in it for the long haul and do that.
Should.
All right, now that shit's not working. That's weird. I don't know what's happening with this shit. It used to not, like, you used to be able to get stuff up on here with no problems on StreamYards, but I guess now they're really trying to make it so that people pay the fee and shit.
What does the fee get you?
I guess the fee gets you a couple more. It gets you a couple more features and shit.
You think that seeing the gaming is one of them?
I don't know, or at least with the screen sharing stuff.
We should ask Flash since he uses it. I think he has the premium.
Yeah, I think he has the premium one too. I'll ask him about it because this shit is not wanting to work for me for some reason, which sucks. So I apologize, folks. I don't think I'll be able to stream a game tonight.
Wait,
I'm gonna have to figure this shit
do
out.
it with GTA last time? No, what the fuck?
I did do it with GTA. Yeah, no problem. Well, let me try GTA, and if that doesn't work, then I don't know what the hell. I'll try that and see if that shit works.
Yeah, because that would be really weird.
Yeah, so for some reason, first-person shooters are not working. Let's see if GTA works. All right, this is gonna be the last try. If I don't get it working this time, I'm probably just gonna call the stream. Because I did want to game for a little bit and talk to y'all. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. It was working before. Like before I went live, I was testing it. It seemed to work fine, but now it's like maybe it has something to do with me being live. I don't know.
Think so?
It's whack. Shit's whack.
Mm-hmm. Whack.
All right, let's see. All right, doing a quick update. I'll try some GTA. I've never tried GTA with mouse and keyboard. I'll try it out to see. See how that works.
You gotta get used to that mouse and keyboard.
I do. Well, I've been trying to with Overwatch. Overwatch is what I've been trying to get used to. Like I've been using only mouse and keyboard for Overwatch. I didn't use controller. So anytime we play, it seems like that one's more made for you to do mouse and keyboard though, because of all the like little, different little abilities and shit that you have.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's ideal to play with mouse and keyboard on that. So,
Yeah.
All right, let's see. GTA Online. Let's go. Here we go. Going online, y'all. Starting it up. Starting it up.
Does it work?
I'm about to find out. It says it's starting up now. Let's see. I played it before. I played GTA Online before. No problemo.
Yeah, I'm just doing some Gambit with Zombie Fox.
Zombie Fox. Shout out to Zombie Fox, folks.
Yeah, Zombie Fox was great.
Yo, you know what I was just thinking?
You've
seen what's been happening on Twitter, right? With people getting their accounts back.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They're suspending accounts back. Could you imagine? I would love to know what would happen if Delirious got his account back.
Oh, that would be cool.
Could you imagine? He gets his account back. I wonder what fucking Ohm would do. Like, oh, no, it's supposed to be permanent.
Yeah, his plan would be like
he'd lose his shit.
Yeah.
If Delirious got his account back. I was just thinking about that. I was like, because I've seen, dude, no lie, I've seen 3 people that were permabanned, right?
Yeah.
Get their accounts reinstated today.
Was one of them Trump or no?
No, not Trump, but like just regular people.
Trump
just
needs
like
to get his Twitter account back.
Yeah, I saw that one guy, whoever that Grim guy is, that freaking Aura
Grim Hades?
follows. No, I don't know if that's who it is, but somebody that I guess he had his account banned, and he got his back today, his original account back, and then freaking Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, he got his original D-Day Cobra account reinstated. And there was one other person, I can't remember, their name escapes me right now, that got their account banned. They had only been banned, I think, for like a few months though, and they just got their shit reinstated. Scroll up in chat. Hold on. What's going on with chat? Let me see. Let me put this shit on. Let me see. I think I could share this. Yeah, I think I might have this. Why isn't that showing up here? That's so weird. Hold on. Let me try this shit. Bring it over here. Okay. Let me see. Share screen. Huh. Where is it? There it goes. All right. Wow, it's not letting me do this either. Rip.
No way.
Yeah, it's not letting me. So it's got I think it might have something to do with, they might have changed something. Scroll up in chat to where, Bowsette. Which part were you referring to, Bowsette? Yeah, it's not letting me freaking do this shit. Wow, man. What the hell happened? I'm gonna have to ask Flash. Maybe they're only letting people do it if they have premium now. Because remember, I've done it before. I did it with Halo Infinite before. A while back. I did it with Halo Infinite, and I did it with Halo Infinite, and I did it with Dead Rising, although that I wasn't playing that online, but I've done it with online games before. I did it with GTA Online before, and I did it with Halo Infinite. Now it's not working. This is weird. It's never done this before. So I guess maybe they changed it. We were talking about Delirious. Oh yeah. Yes, I did see that earlier. Yeah, I'm pretty sure well, I should say I'm pretty sure he's going to get his account back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got his account back.
And Golmrecker would be mad.
So, John, do you go aggro with Halo, or was Crow joking? Oh no, I used to absolutely go aggro in Halo, but I have to be PG for the stream because sometimes my nieces and nephews, they tune in. Can't have that. Can't have them seeing their uncle lose his shit. That's
fine. You lose your shit though.
It's all in fun though. I do it really more because of it brings out the old days in me, and I like fucking making people laugh at me getting mad. So it's all great, mad in game. But I don't really take it to heart. I don't give a shit. Would cry in the corner. Yeah. Would go after. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm wondering. Like I'm almost like part of me wants I hope that he just gets his account back just to see. I want to see him get his account back just to see Ohm's reaction, just to see what Ohm is gonna say, because he was just like, he's permanently suspended. He's never getting his account back. I mean, which it could end up staying. Like I don't think necessarily that everybody who's been suspended is gonna get their accounts back. But I think there is going to be some people that will eventually get their accounts back. Like I feel like I could see a scenario where Trump gets his account back. You know what I mean? 100%. I could see a scenario where he gets reinstated on Twitter. So,
yeah, why wouldn't he, right?
I mean, dude, he was one of the most interesting people on here, bro. When he was on here, it was fun. It was fun to see people get mad, and bro, so many people that would like have one-sided conversations with him too. They do like talking shit to Trump. It's like Trump doesn't even know you exist. Like why are you wasting your waste? Like Dan Slott, that fat Gimli looking ass motherfucker, the fucking the comic book writer.
Never heard of him.
That's Manny's quote, by the way. So shout out to Manny for that. That's what Manny called him. He calls him the fat Gimli looking ass motherfucker. He looks like fucking Gimli from Lord of the Rings. Dan Slott is a comic book writer. He wrote on Spider-Man for 10 years, and his only like well-known story from that is the Spider, and even that's not like his completely original thing, because Spider-Verse he worked on with a bunch of other writers, but his best known work on there was like his Superior Spider-Man stuff, which was when Doc Ock became Spider-Man for a little bit, when he basically implanted his mind into Peter Parker's body. So that was like his most and he worked on the comic book for 10 years, apparently longer than anybody else writing on it. And that's like that dude would like tweet at Trump every day, like talking shit to Trump. And it's just like, bro, Trump doesn't even know you exist. Like, why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting like hours upon hours of your day on Twitter having a one-sided fucking argument with a guy who doesn't even know that you fucking exist, dude? Like it's ridiculous. And so many people would do that shit. It would make me laugh. I'm just like, why are you arguing with a guy that's never going to see like your tweet? Why? He's treating, and the thing is, truthfully, look, he was treating him the way that he should, right? Completely like, not that I would expect Trump to answer every single person that would tweet at him, right? But it's just like, he's never going to see what you're saying to him. Like, why are you going out of your way? And like, that was one of those guys that would do it like almost every day. Dan Slott. Gelf Walker says Recato Law was able to get back into his Recato Law handle after the banned account was wiped. Oh, there's another one. There you go. There's another one. Another one. Yep. Because remember,
so everybody can get their account back now.
So I mean, look, yeah, exactly. If it's like that, shit. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, he changed it. He changed it back. He changed his Recato Media back into Recato Law. Look at that. So look up. Gelf was on point. He got his old app back. Look.
Gelf was on point.
Yeah, look at that. He got it back.
The fuck is Gelf?
Gelf Walker. He's one of the longtime subscribers. He's also one of Tug's mods.
Oh.
Yeah. I believe, right? You're still one of Tug's mods, right, Gelf? Or was it Flash? I think you also were a mod for Flash, right?
Oh, fucking hell.
See, the thing is though, Delirious can probably start a new Twitter account and get his old @ back. So
I imagine that.
But I believe this is Recado's, I think, original account though. See, look at the 90K followers. So unless his newer one, hold on. Let me see. sure he still has Ricada Media. No. He switched it back to Ricada Law. So yeah, he switched it. That's good. Good for Nick. Good for Nick. Good for Nick Ricada. Got his shit back. Yeah, so he just changed his app back to Ricada Law. Yeah, because this was his Ricada Media account. Yeah.
Law.
Yeah, so he changed it back. That's what it was. That's good. It's good for him. That's awesome. So if he could do that, I would assume that Delirious can probably do the same. He could probably get back on Twitter, and even his account probably won't have the verified check anymore, but he could probably use the @ the H2O Delirious @ So, and that, like I said, I want to see what the hell will happen. Hold on. Let me do something real quick here. So yeah, it looks like I'm not going to be able to stream a game tonight. So I apologize, folks. So I'll probably just wrap it here. But I appreciate you all joining me tonight. It was fun. Thank you, Sen, for joining.
No problem.
Stream GG Evans, you are the stream daddy. I got your text. I'll probably use whatchamacallit, OBS next time.
OBS.
Yeah, next time so I could play some music or whatever. But I'm gonna try to stream again tomorrow or the next day for sure. Get back into this. So GG Evans, you are the stream daddy. And I also have to give it to Bandit. You're also the stream daddy or mommy, if you prefer. Whatever you want to call yourself. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I will catch you all on the next stream. You all have a fantastic night. It was fun. And we'll do this again real soon. Peace.